The Chad Benson Show.
Here's how we're going to fix this long term. We're not fixing anything overnight. You know that, and I know that. You weigh 250 pounds, you want to be 150 pounds, it's not happening overnight unless I cut you in half. We have to realize there's a generation or two that's going to be more to the state, but we're going to fix this. The solution's there.
The Chad Benson Show.
Hey, it's Chad Benson. Join me this afternoon from 3 to 6 on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
This is Doug Sample from Whitney Chevrolet. We're going to save you money. Montesano has one of the lowest sales tax rates in the state, plus our costs are way less than other dealers. And right now, we're offering up to 90 days with no payments on any new or used vehicles with proof of your tax refund. They all come with lifetime oil changes to boot. Stop by and visit WhitneyChev.com to check out our inventory.
A $150 negotiable document fee may be added to the price of all vehicles.
Worth the drive to Whitney's, just down the road to Whitney's.
Now, from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Jeff Slakey.
Yeah, thank you. 6:08 on a Thursday morning, 24th of March, AM 1030 and FM 103.3, streaming online as well at iFIBER1NewsRadio.com. In a wild game yesterday, Seattle Mariners eventually lost to the Oakland Athletics 13-12. The teams combined for 16 runs in the first 2.5 innings. 16 runs in the first 2.5 innings. Chris Iannetta had 3 hits and drove in 4 runs for the Mariners. Our next Mariners game tonight at 7 against the Colorado Rockies. After their loss in the NIT, the Huskies have wrapped up basketball season. Washington freshmen Marquise Chris and DeJounte Murray have both declared for the NBA draft and will hire agents, ending their college careers after 1 season. Seattle goalkeeper Tyler Miller has replaced injured Zach Steffen on the U.S. U23 roster for the Olympic qualifying playoffs against Colombia. The Americans play at Barranquilla tomorrow in the first leg of the Total Goal Series. The NCAA men's tournament continues today. Number 1, Oregon takes on Duke in the Sweet 16. Also, Kansas and Maryland, Oklahoma and Texas A&M, and Villanova and Miami are today. Tomorrow night on iFIBER ONE News Radio, we have Gonzaga basketball taking on the Syracuse Orange at 6:40. Our pregame is going to be at 6:20 on AM 1030 and FM 103.3. Additionally, tomorrow it's Virginia, Iowa State, Wisconsin, Notre Dame, and North Carolina, Indiana. We need to get Notre Dame to win this one, Carol. We need to have Gonzaga win on Friday and Indiana on Friday night. Other than that, I'm honestly, I don't even know who we have in our brackets anymore. 6:11 at iFIBER ONE News Radio. And here is Carol Gardner checking on the South Sounds forecast.
Soaker showers this morning, becoming scattered showers this afternoon. Highs in the upper 40s, low 50s. The rain continues overnight and into the morning, clearing into the afternoon. And Saturday is looking to be the driest for the Easter weekend, with more rain coming in for Sunday. Good news is long-range forecast is calling for warm and sunny weather by the middle of next week. Right now, it's about 41 in Shelton.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor, your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
Yeah, good morning to you. 6:11. I'm Jeff Slakey with Carol Gardner. Morning to you, Carol, on this Thursday here, getting ready for Easter weekend and a lot of showers there in your forecast. Streaming audio and video this morning on iFIBER1NewsRadio.com, also on Twitter at iFIBER1Radio and Facebook.com/1030KMAS. Today is World Tuberculosis Day, and at 7:15 we have part of an in-depth interview that we had with Mason County Health Officer Dr. Diana Yu about how prevalent TB is these days. So that'll be coming up at 7:15 today. Fiddle Fest coming up soon. Will and Laura Farr will be in to play some music, talk about the fun day of great music. And for National Nutrition Month, Terry Shaw from the Mason County Senior Activities Center, along with a representative from Senior Services for the South Sound in, talking about senior nutrition. We started the month off talking with Joe Sanchez from Public Health for the County of Mason. That was a great conversation, and we continue on. We had Jeannie Raywall, Terry Shaw today. Next week, we'll talk about pet nutrition. It's all coming up here on Daybreak.
Listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
I'm Kyle Montgomery with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Thanks to the Los Angeles Rams, Hard Knocks has gone Hollywood. The team will be the focus in the 11th season of HBO's acclaimed documentary series that delves into one NFL team's training camp. The first episode will air August the 9th. NFL Network's Albert Breer reports the NFL was working on the idea of putting a regular season game in China for 2018, and the Rams would be the home team. The new stadium in Inglewood is not slated to open until 2019. The NFL, meanwhile, passed 9 rule changes this week at their annual meeting, including 2 on its final day yesterday. League owners passed the automatic ejection rule suggested by NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. The new rule will eject any player flagged for 2 unsportsmanlike conduct fouls in a game. Also voted in was a proposal to change the spot of the snap after a touchback to the 25-yard line. Both rules will be treated as one-year experiments. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Any Napa guy knows, and science proves, the best minivan is the one you've already got. Part kid transporter, part drywall mover. Who cares if the faux wood grain is a little faded? That was a platinum package option in 1987. With over 400,000 parts and a little Napa know-how, you can keep anything on the road. Because it's not old, it's vintage. That's Napa know-how.
Geico applauds your inner happy camper.
A merit badge of awesomeness goes out to the part of you that wants to put the recreation in recreational vehicle. The part of you that packs up everything and everybody in the RV and says, let's get this show on the road. Because Geico has specialized agents who help save money on more than just car insurance. Geico will insure that entire RV, so you can get the s'more making, poison ivy dodging, same song singing, ghost storytelling, campfire building, best time you ever had with your family show on the road.
Geico for your RV. See how much you could save.
iFIBER ONE Newsradio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
All right, good morning to you. 6:15 on iFIBER ONE News Radio. It's Daybreak. I'm Jeff Slakey with Carol Gardner. Morning, Carol.
Good morning, Jeff.
Thursday, the 24th, we've got some Maryland Foster news at 6:30. And a visit with Dr. Diana Yu in an hour from right now. But more news from around Washington this morning.
Yeah, the Liquor and Cannabis Board, Washington State's Liquor and Cannabis Board, incorporated some public comments into some new draft rules, and they had 7 public hearings prior. So these rules will be adopted, and they will be effective June 18th, and that's going to be just before the medical pot shops either have to be changed into recreational stores or shut down, and that's going to take effect July 2016.
So when I am driving down the road and I see one of the green crosses, that is the signifier for a medical shop.
Yes.
Those have to either switch to recreational, meaning everybody can go in there, or they just shut down.
That is what the legislative, put together.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty interesting. So they have till the medical dispensaries, the ones with the green crosses, have till the end of the month to apply for a recreational license. But I heard somewhere that those are really hard to come by now. So if you haven't done it now, it's you're
gonna have to get in it early.
Yeah, you had it in early. So some of these new rules that are going to be adopted before this big thing happens is that if you assign a vehicle to transport pot, it has to be part of your licensed premise it's going to be part of your whole building. Those Mr. Yuck stickers for edibles and liquids, I think we talked about those before. They are not having those on. But they do have to work with the State Poison Center to create new ways to let people know, basically kids, that it's not safe to eat. It's not candy or something. But the Mr. Yuck stickers, they didn't work quite the way they wanted to. Plus, pot shops can now open, accept returns on open products.
Whoa!
Yeah,
didn't do what it was supposed to.
Yeah, and you have to have the full packaging, though. And it also removes the requirement for employees' birth dates to be on their ID badge. And there's a lot more. So a full list of these revisions can be found on the LCB website.
Mason General Hospital and family of clinics, the first hospital in Washington and one of the first in the nation to receive national recognition as an acute stroke-ready hospital. In February, the Joint Commission, which accredits and certifies nearly 21,000 healthcare organizations and programs in the U.S., approved the Shelton-based group with disease-specific care certification. Hospitals that earn that certificate
Big words for too early.
Must be equipped to treat stroke patients with timely evidence-based care prior to transferring them to a primary or comprehensive stroke center. 6:18 now, iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
And Paul Allen in the news again, this time. I mean, he's either in the news for something people think he did or something now that...
What do you think he did? What do we think he did?
That was when his boat anchor...
Well, it was his boat.
He
wasn't on board.
Yeah.
But it was his boat.
So now, of course, he wants to make the world a better place, and he wants to do this through unconventional scientific research. Yesterday, he announced he's starting a new Seattle-based frontier group. It's going to fund out-of-the-box scientific thinking around the world.
I'm thinking the first scientific study will be the effects of large yachts on coral reefs.
Yeah, that could be true. He's talking, so... You never know. Maybe he just thought, you know what, I got to do something. So he is funding this initiative with an initial commitment of $100 million. And the purpose, explore landscape of bioscience, fund ideas at the knowledge to advance science. So they have people from all over the world. They're going to be working with scientists, visionaries, innovators to combine ideas and to find untapped areas of exploration, because basically... to make major advances in science and technology, the world has to invest in scientists who will pursue these unconventional researches instead of just, hitting your head against the wall and going, why isn't it working?
That is a large and often talked about topic on a show we have here Sunday nights called The Paracast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about paranormal UFOs and stuff. And they're always talking about how on earth are we going to get the scientific community to buy into what we're talking about. And it's with scientists that do these unconventional things.
Right, because, everybody wants to follow the norm.
Sure.
You don't want to rock the boat because you're afraid.
Exploring, it's hard to think outside the box.
Yeah, so, most good ideas come from people who've thought outside the box. And then they become the box, unfortunately.
And then it's a vicious cycle. All right, I need to find out what's the latest update in worldwide trend, #men on tree.
Okay,
men in tree.
Men in tree. #men in tree. So, man in tree. So, he, spent about 25 hours in that 80-foot tree in downtown Seattle, and he came down safely before noon yesterday. He's still unidentified, and he became, the worldwide sensation, going viral on Twitter. Authorities got him on a gurney and took him to Harborville Medical Center for an evaluation, and police say he doesn't face any criminal charges.
Oh, that's interesting.
Though the man in the tree was stripped the top of the tree bare, tearing off the limbs and throwing them at officers and firefighters. A drone did show up in the early morning hours yesterday, but there wasn't any information on that. So they do believe mental health has a play in this, and so it's opening up the discussion again about mental health. And as for the tree, Seattle DOT officials say they'll review the health of the tree once, everything's calmed down.
621 at iFIBER. That was all over the place. People were walking in off the street yesterday.
Yeah.
So is that guy still in the tree?
Mm-hmm.
Still in the tree. Authorities say airplane debris recently recovered from East Africa is highly likely to be part of a Malaysian jetliner that vanished over the southern Indian Ocean 2 years ago. ABC's Ben Coles reports on this one for us.
Australian Infrastructure and Transport Minister Darren Chester has confirmed that the analysis of 2 pieces of debris which washed up on a Mozambique beach are highly likely to be part of the missing Malaysian plane. Mr. Chester's optimism that another piece of the painstaking jigsaw has been unearthed was echoed by his Malaysian counterpart, Transport Minister Lew Chong Lai.
We concluded it's most certain belong to MH370.
Ben Coles, ABC News, Sydney.
So it sounds like maybe they're getting finally closer to solving at least the fact that it didn't disappear.
Yeah, it's really strange that you can't find something. But, you know, I came across a story yesterday that a military boat had been missing for 95 years off the coast of Washington, that they had found it. So.
The Conestoga? Was that the name of it?
I believe so.
I think I read that headline yesterday, too.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So.
Well, I saw another guy, a picture of a guy who took a drone out and was over a body of water, and the water was calm that day, and he could look all the way down, and he saw an airplane.
Was this over a body of water called the ocean, or was it a huge?
I think it was a lake.
Huge inland lake.
May have been like one of the Great Lakes.
Oh, wow. It's crazy that one.
Mary Lynn Foster has the local news in 7 minutes. The leaders in the city of Shelton have hired a law firm to defend the city in a lawsuit. U.S. Rep. Derek Kilmer is going to be in town tonight, and a historic building needs to be moved or will be razed. Again, those stories with Mary Lynn Foster in 7 minutes.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
Your small business needs a loyalty rewards program, but email and paper cards are not effective, and using your POS system where you have to do all the work is bad as well. Go mobile. 95% of customers will check your marketing message on their smartphones in the first 5 minutes you send it, and we do all the work for you for under $150 a month. Call Puget Sound Perks today, 253-584-1212, or visit psperks.com. Reward your customers, and they'll reward you back.
You know, this is a good time to subscribe to the Journal. Most importantly, you get a great local newspaper. We were voted the best mid-sized weekly newspaper in the state, which helps you stay connected to your community. And then there is the fact that subscription rates remain low while individual paper prices are increasing for 2016. You can save as much as $40 this year with your subscription. Quality, convenience, and low price. The Journal gives you all that every week. Call 426-4412 or go to masoncounty.com.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Paraswabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is John Greenhut, the CEO of Paraswabs. And if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Paraswabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Paraswabs risk-free, call 1-800-928-7113. That's 1-800-928-7113. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends, family, and coworkers talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-928-7113. That's 1-800-928-7113.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Good morning to you. It's Daybreak here at iFIBER One News Radio. Mary Lynn Foster in 4 minutes. Dr. Diana Yu at 7:15 talking TB on World Tuberculosis Day. Carol had some information last segment about the marijuana industry. A new report says production of illegal marijuana has dropped dramatically in the recent years here in the great state. U.S. DEA says the number of marijuana plants seized in 2014 was 57,000. Okay, 2014, they took in 57,000. That's 80% less than was seized 6 years ago. Over that same period, the amount processed marijuana dropped from just over 3,000 pounds to 630 pounds. An amazing turn of events here this morning.
But why do they say that?
Well, I'm guessing it's because it's legal now.
Well, that's what I would say too. So to me, it's like, really, it's that big of a deal? I mean, to me,
just because everybody kept saying, well, people are still going to get it on the black market, or it's still too expensive, and the prices have leveled to be about what you would get on the street. $7-8 a gram, I think, is roughly it for a quality. And now, because of the wreck and the medical, there's no point. I mean, so this is a good showing of what happens to the crime when these types of things are legalized and regulated.
Yeah,
heavy.
I hear you. I hear. So the slick new ABC drama, The Catch, premieres tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And ABC's Jason Nathanson has a preview from its star.
The Catch is about a private investigator who investigates cons, only to get conned herself.
He's gone. Christopher is gone.
Mireille Eno stars. She was nominated for an Emmy for the really dark and really bleak AMC Netflix show, The Killing. I think you smile more in the first 5 minutes of The Catch, though, than you did in 4 seasons on The Killing.
I think that's, pretty true.
She thinks this new show, people can relate.
Most people on the planet have had some kind of betrayal, that feeling of wanting answers and revenge.
The Catch, from the production company of Shonda Rhimes, premieres tonight on ABC. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
I'm encouraged by a lot of these new dramas that are out. Some of them are actually really good. The Killing that they referenced there was on AMC, and at least the first season that Stephanie and I watched, we did watch the first season and maybe the first 2 episodes of the second season, filmed in Seattle, set in Seattle. And they get on the ferry, and they're in the downtown area, and it's about corruption and elections. And that lady then went on to play Brad Pitt's wife, I guess, in the movie World War Z.
Okay.
World War Z, here's another fun factoid for you, written by Max Brooks, Mel Brooks' kid.
Mm-hmm.
You still like all that zombie stuff, Walking Dead?
I sure do.
Season finale next week, or two episodes left?
I think there's 2 episodes left.
I can't get into the other episodes. Fear the Walking Dead, the West Coast version of that one.
You don't like that?
I haven't even tried it yet.
I do like it. And then they also have Flight 649, I think. I can't remember the exact number, but it's about an airplane and what happens if you're on an airplane and somebody gets
those
sick.
Were just little vignettes.
They are. They're just a minute, but they'll be 16 by the end of the season. Huh. Yeah, they're pretty good. Takes you, 16 minutes to watch it.
6:30. You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
From the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. Shelton leaders have hired a law firm to defend the city in a lawsuit filed by environmental activists who say it's taken too long to clean up the C Street landfill. The city commissioners approved the hiring of Foster Pepper PLCC to perform an estimated 50 to 80 hours of time in the lawsuit, Waste Action Project versus City of Shelton. Waste Action Project is part of the Northwest Toxic Communities Coalition. It filed the lawsuit in December against the city, stating it's taken too long to clean up the dump, also known as the Shelton landfill. A letter from Foster Pepper informed the city that the firm's discounted hourly rates range from $285 to $475 an hour, depending on the attorney used. U.S. Congressman Derek Kilmer called into Daybreak yesterday morning to talk about a number of things, including a visit tonight to Shelton for discussion about the Olympic Peninsula Forest Collaborative. That's an effort to create jobs and grow the economy in the region by bringing the timber industry and the conservation community together to figure out ways to manage our forests better.
We're going to have a public meeting of the collaborative and invite people's questions and input and just provide an update on what the collaborative has been up to. That's an example of some of the stuff we're working on to try to grow jobs in our area. The effort around increasing the use of some of the innovative wood products like cross-laminated timber provides the potential for sort of timber 2.0 in our region. So that's something I've been working on. And then even outside the timber industry, a lot of my focus has been on just trying to grow small businesses and support economic development in our region, because I do not want our region's top export to be our young people, and that's going to continue to be a priority for me.
That public meeting is this evening at 7 p.m. at Mason PUD 3 on Johns Prairie Road. And you can hear the full interview with the congressman on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1Newsradio.com. City officials are looking at ways to move and preserve the 67-year-old historic Simpson Lumber Dispatch Building that's on industrial land being redeveloped for a new Sierra Pacific Industries sawmill. SPI has given the city 30 days to come up with a plan for saving the structure, or it will be torn down when the company builds a new mill on the site. Lisa Perry, Sierra Pacific Industries Community Relations Representative, told iFIBER One News that Sierra Pacific would be flexible, possibly up to 60 days, as long as the city made progress on moving the building. The building needs to be moved because the main electrical conduit to the future mill site runs under the railroad building. Sierra Pacific's new sawmill could be under construction in late spring or early summer and completed in early 2017. For iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Marilyn Foster.
Arch Mechanical. Our name begins with affordable. Affordable refrigeration, cooling, and heating. Whether residential, commercial, or food service equipment, your satisfaction is of utmost importance. And with over 30 years of experience, Arch Mechanical Service is backed by a 30-day labor guarantee. Serving South and West Puget Sound, there is no need to pay for one of those big city technicians. Call 360-229-2139. Arch Mechanical. Our name begins with affordable.
Warriors and Spurs rack up victories at home, and a legendary sportscaster has died. Hi, everybody. I'm Todd Ant reporting on sports. 33 points for Steph Curry in the Warriors' 114-98 victory over the Clippers, but it was Klay Thompson who ruled the night from three-point range.
Catches and fires right wing over Ute, a three for Klay. Out to Klay for three. Good. Outside to Klay. Fires another three. Got another three.
On KNBR, Thompson knocked down 7 threes, scoring 32, and Golden State improves to 64-7. They're 33-0 this season at Oracle. And the Spurs continue to win at home, as well as making it 36 straight this season.
Marcus to Kawhi. He's fouled. Oh, mama! Kawhi Leonard!
On Fox Sports Southwest, Kawhi Leonard, 32 points in the Spurs' 112-88 victory over Miami. LeBron James pushing the Cavaliers past the Bucks last night.
Now it's Smith who drives right baseline, hands off to LeBron. A reverse dunk by LeBron James.
On WTAM, James scored 26, Cavs 113-104 over Milwaukee. In Houston, Derek Favors sent the crowd home disappointed.
With 5, gives to Favors, dunks with 1. Derek Favors dunks it with 1.6 seconds to play.
On KZNS, the Jazz nipped the Rockets 89-87, and in Denver,
Moutier crossed the half-court line, lost the basketball, picked it back up, shoots it. Got it into Horn! The rookie buries the Sixers!
On KKFN, Nuggets win 104-103. Not too many people saw it because of blizzard conditions in Denver. NIT semifinals set for next Tuesday at Madison Square Garden in New York. George Washington will take on San Diego State. Valparaiso faces BYU. Former baseball player and broadcaster Joe Garagiola has died. He was 90. Garagiola played in the majors for 9 years and won a World Series title, but then spent the next 57 years behind the mic. Garagiola was a Ford Frick Award recipient in 1991 for excellence in broadcasting. And Alex Rodriguez told ESPN he'll play 2 more years before calling it quits in 2017. Todd Ant, ABC Sports.
Has this ever happened to you? Your significant other says, we've got to redo the kitchen, and you break out into a cold sweat?
Well, don't worry. It's a common condition, something we call needless remodeling anxiety, and we've got the cure. Heck, we are the cure. Hi, I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti. Whether you do it yourself or direct it yourself, we can help you keep your project on track and on budget.
So join us this weekend for the Money Pit Home Improvement Radio Show.
Saturdays at 10, Sundays at 7 on iFIBER One News Radio.
Now, from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Jeff Slakey.
.36 at iFIBER One News Radio. Good morning to you. I'm Jeff Slakey along with Carol Gardner, and we've got some sports information to pass along. A wild game yesterday. The Mariners lost 13-12 to the Oakland Athletics. That was last night. Teams combined for 16 runs in their first 2.5 innings. Yeah. I hope those pitchers are able to work whatever it is out that they were working on. Chris Iannetta had 3 hits and drove in 4 runs for the Mariners. Our next Mariners game is tonight at 7 against the Colorado Rockies. Carol, former Mariner Alex Rodriguez is in the news today. Says he's going to retire after the 2017 season. I honestly didn't even know he was still playing.
You didn't?
What team does he play for?
Alex Rodriguez? Yeah. Isn't he a Mariner?
No. He's the one that got the $235 million. He went to Texas, and he went to New York. And
I thought he was a Mariner.
The picture I see is...
I'm not the sports person, obviously.
I know that, but I mean, he left Seattle.
I thought he came
like
back.
A long time
I know, but I thought he came back.
Oh, wait, man. I think he still plays for the Yanks. Washington freshman Marquise Chris and DeJounte Murray both declared for the NBA draft.
Never mind. I totally apologize. I was thinking of somebody completely different. Jeff and I are obviously not syncing this morning. A-Rod.
A-Rod.
For Pete's sakes. Yeah.
Oh, if I would have said A-Rod.
Yeah, I was totally, I was half listening to you. I'm so sorry. I apologize to all the Mariner fans out there.
It happens. A lot of half listening when I started talking.
Sorry about
Seattle goalkeeper Tyler Miller has replaced injured Zach Steffen on the U23 roster for the Olympic qualifying team playoffs against Colombia. The NCAA men's tournament continues today. Number 1 Oregon takes on Duke in the Sweet 16 tomorrow night on iFIBER ONE News Radio. We have Gonzaga basketball taking on the Syracuse Orange at 6:40. Pregame is at 6:20 on AM 1030 and FM 103.3. 6:39 now at iFIBER ONE News Radio. Moving on to the South Sounds forecast. Here's Carol Gardner once again.
Soaker showers this morning. They will become scattered showers later this afternoon, and we'll have highs in the upper 40s to low 50s. The rain continues overnight and into the morning, clearing in the afternoon. And for this weekend, Saturday is looking to be the driest for the Easter festivities, with more rain, unfortunately, coming in on Sunday. So the good news is long-range forecast is calling for warm and sunny weather by the middle of next week. Right now, it's about 40 in Shelton.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor, your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
Yo, good morning to you. 6:39 at iFIBER ONE News Radio. Jeff and Carol will live the country life, Carol, in a couple of moments. Got a great show for you today. We're streaming audio and video this morning at iFiberOneNewsRadio.com, also on the Twitter at iFIBER ONE Radio, and Facebook.com/1030KMAS. World TB Day, tuberculosis. And at 7:15, we'll have part of an in-depth interview with Mason County Health Officer Dr. Diana Yu about how prevalent TB is these days. Interesting conversation we'll play. Most of it, Carol did a great job editing it for us yesterday, and it'll be a full 20 minutes, 22 minutes or so on the website later today. But we'll have a great part of that conversation with Dr. Yu at 7:15. Fiddle Fest coming up soon. Will and Laura Farr will be in to play some music, talk about the fun day of great music. We've also got some tickets to give away for that. National Nutrition Month continues, and Terry Shaw from the Mason County Senior Activities Center, along with a rep from Senior Services for the South Sound, will be here to talk about senior nutrition. Sean Wells in the 8 o'clock hour, and Vicki Look as well for the Focus on Shelton, talking about the ongoing recruitment of city administrator for the city of Shelton. 6:41 right now. Also some more local news to share with you. The jobless rate is holding steady at under 6% these days. The man in tree is down. Starbucks is out with some new news on prepaid cards, hoping to boost their rewards programs. The Seattle Archdiocese is in the news. They settled abuse cases for some millions of dollars, and the head of IT for the Department of Corrections steps down. Also have some more ABC News for you with any of the latest news from the Brussels terror attack and all that coming up here before 7 o'clock on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.com.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
The ocean waves roll in, hypnotic, continuous, and perched high above rests the oldest family-owned resort on Washington's coast, Ocean Crest Resort. Picturesque, friendly, comfortable. Ocean Crest has served as the perfect ocean hideaway for over 60 years. With unsurpassed ocean views, warm fireplaces, full kitchen, swimming pool, hot tub, and spa. Ocean Crest Resort offers you total and unrivaled relaxation. Frommer's Guide reports you simply won't find a more spectacular setting anywhere on the Washington coast. And Ocean Crest's enchanting restaurant is listed as one of Washington's 13 ultimate restaurants you must visit before you die. See for yourself with our special 3-for-2 package. For a limited time, stay 2 nights and get a 3rd night free. Call 800-684-8439, 800-684-8439, or visit oceancrestresort.com. Ocean Crest Resort, making memories since 1953. In Mo Clips, overlooking the Pacific Ocean.
We love hearing from our listeners and sharing their stories with you. Hi, I'm Jody Henke. Today we're featuring an Idaho man who has created his own alternatives to dairy products as he's living the country life.
Living the country life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic and from previous shows by visiting us online at livingthecountrylife.com. We'll return to the show after these messages.
He's done 3 tours and now he's saving his dad's farm. Do you know a farmer veteran like that? We're inviting you to share their story. Successful Farming Magazine and Grasshopper Mowers are teaming up to acknowledge and thank farmer veterans for their service. This new initiative is called From Fighter to Farmer. Enter any veteran farmers you know in our contest at agriculture.com/fighter to farmer. Explain the veteran's military experience and farming operation, along with the involvement they have in your community. 3 veterans will receive a combination prize package of $5,000 and a vacation to Nashville. 1 lucky winner will also receive a $10,000 gift certificate to spend at Grasshopper Mowers. No purchase necessary. Open to legal residents of the 40 contiguous United States and D.C. 13 years and older. Begins February 1st, 2016 and ends April 30th, 2016. Subject to official rules at agriculture.com/fighter to farmer rules. Void in Alaska, Hawaii, and where prohibited. Sponsor, Meredith Corporation. From Fighter to Farmer is brought to you by Grasshopper Mowers. Enter any veteran farmer you know in our contest at agriculture.com/fighter to farmer.
Landon Walker of Idaho Falls, Idaho, has been lactose intolerant all of his life. He tried drinking rice milk, soy milk, and almond milk, but didn't like anything he bought from the grocery store. As they say, necessity is the mother of invention. So Landon started making his own almond milk in his kitchen. He says his recipe has a higher almond concentration, no preservatives, and it tastes better. Landon says almond milk is basically almonds mixed with water.
Usually people will soak their almonds, allow them to sprout even, and you unlock a lot of the nutrients. Usually you're going to blend almonds in water and then strain out the pulp so that it's not gritty. We use natural sweetener. We use local honey in ours, and then we use coconut oil and vanilla and some sea salt.
Landon perfected his process and started making chocolate cashew milk, too. He sold his products at a local farmer's market, and people bought them like crazy. The business expanded to making home deliveries on a scooter, and now he makes coconut-based ice cream as well. Most recently, Landon says they started working with a local dairy to pasteurize their products so they could be in grocery stores. He also notes the dairy doesn't see it as competing with cow's milk.
A dairy can make the most wonderful, delicious milk in the world, and I'm not going to drink it because it makes me sick. So I need an alternative. The dairy actually came and approached us because they realized that, there's a lot of their customers who have children who just can't drink the milk. Everybody needs different things, and, if you can't drink milk, almond milk's a great alternative.
Landon says he'd like to work with other dairies with a similar vision and help them produce their own almond milk. We'd like to hear what makes your place special. Tell us about it at livingthecountrylife.com. I'll see you in the country.
Living the country life. ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic, share your tips, and post photos by visiting us online.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
647 at iFIBER One News Radio. Old Farmer's Almanac coming up in a few minutes, and CNBC Business Radio report as well. In a blistering opinion, 5 federal appeals court judges have accused 2 King County prosecutors of conspiring to hide evidence and allowing a witness to make false statements on the stand. The 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals declined to offer any relief to Joshua Frost, sentenced to 55 years for his part in a string of robberies back in 2003. But Judge Alex Krasinski said 4 other judges, in addition to Krasinski, 4 other judges said in an opinion released this week that the prosecutor's actions were troubling and needed to be revealed. He says it appears 2 prosecutors worked together to hide a plea deal given to a man who testified against Frost. The appeals judge says allowing a witness to testify falsely would amount to professional misconduct. So I'll continue to follow that story.
Washington jobless rate holds steady at 5.8% after Washington State added an estimated 10,600 jobs last month. In numbers released yesterday, the State Employment Security Department said February jobless rate matches January's numbers, and the national unemployment rate for February was 4.9. Officials said that during the one-year period ending in February, almost 97,000 jobs have been added statewide. The biggest gains were seen in leisure and hospitality, professional and business services, and retail. Government also saw an increase, as did information, other services, and transportation, warehouse, and utilities.
Starbucks says it'll introduce a prepaid card by the end of the year that lets people earn points for its rewards program. Seattle-based company plans to offer the card through Chase, says people would be able to use it wherever Visa is accepted. In the latest move by Starbucks to convince people to sign up for its loyalty program by giving them more ways to earn reward stars outside of its cafes, Starbucks already has more than 12 million active members for its loyalty program.
The Seattle Archdiocese says it will pay just over $9 million to 8 women who were sexually abused as children by a former priest in Whatcom and Skagit counties. In a news release Wednesday, Michael Cody abused the girls between 1968 and 1974 at churches in Burlington, LaConner, Sonoma, and Bellingham. Archbishop J. Peter Sartain said in a statement he deeply regrets the abuse by Cody. And the Archdiocese agreed in May 2015 to pay over $1 million to settle a lawsuit brought by a Cedar Woolley woman who said she was molested by Cody. So Cody died last year and hadn't served as a priest since 1979, and he was defrocked in 2005. From the late 1980s through January 2016, the Seattle Archdiocese has paid about $74 million in civil settlements for 392 claims of sexual abuse of minors.
That movie Spotlight got the Academy Award for Best Picture. That was one of the first times that we had heard that coming out of the Northeast, was where I think it first kind of broke, the Boston area, and then slowly moved west and hit Seattle. If you're a cat person, any cat people here this morning?
I do like cats.
If you're a cat person, Carol, you may not want to listen to this. However, if you're not, you might be interested in hearing of new study that has linked a parasite found in cats to angry outbursts in humans. Scott Goldberg reports. He sure does. Come on now. Not responding.
Let's say you find this version of Jingle Bells charming. You're definitely a cat person, which means you also might be a crazy cat person. Don't get angry at me, it's science. At least it's what scientists at the University of Chicago have found, a link between angry outbursts in humans and a common parasite found in cats. The parasite's called Toxoplasma gondii. The condition in humans is called intermittent explosive disorder. But the researchers say correlation is not causation, so don't go kick the cat or anything. Scott Goldberg, ABC News.
Oh, interesting.
Strange report. What if you're a cat and dog person?
Well,
since people like to label people.
Sure. I would say that if you're a cat and dog person, then only half of you would get this. No, I don't know. Well, what's the matter if you're a dog person? They didn't have that part of the story. There's no studies on parasites that make dog people go crazy if there's... What is this parasite? Have you ever heard of this?
Yeah. I mean, that parasite is a known parasite in cats.
How do you get it?
How
would you get it?
I personally would not get it. But if somebody was uncareful with their cat's feces, then that's how they would get it. Yes.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
Ever need to measure something without a ruler handy? We'll share some clever ways to get a darn close estimate on the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. With more practical tips and useful advice, this is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report for Thursday, March 24th, the 84th day of the year. Magician Harry Houdini and actor Steve McQueen were born on this day. Few of us make a habit of carrying around a ruler or tape measure, so what do you do when you need a quick measurement? Use what's at hand, of course. On the average person, the tip of the thumb to the first knuckle is about an inch. The width of your hand is 4 inches. A dollar bill is just a shade over 6 inches long. The width of a standard legal pad is 8.5 inches, and the height of most dining tables is 30 inches. If you're frequently at a loss for a measuring device, try this. Cut a 6-inch strip from an old tape measure and keep it in your wallet. That is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. Learn more and get the advice of the day online at almanac.com.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
.654 iFIBER One News Radio. Good morning to you. I'm Jeff Slakey along with Carol Gardner. Morning, Carol.
Morning, Jeff.
Guardians of the Galaxy. You like that movie? Did you see it? Chris Pratt. They're working on the sequel. We'll have a report on that in a second. Seattle man who formerly taught at UW has been the business school there sentenced to more than 3 years in prison for fraud. Sachin Chatterjee pleaded guilty last May to federal charges that he swindled at least 5 investors out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. He ran strategic capital management from 92 until state regulators ordered him to close in 2013. U.S. Attorney Annette Hayes said in a written statement that Chatterjee tricked members of his own Bengali community. He is a native of India. U.S. District Judge Thomas Zilli sentenced him yesterday to 40 months in prison and nearly $550,000 in restitution.
Jeff, if you're willing to donate a lot of money to a good cause, you can hang out with a movie star.
Okay.
On the set of a movie that's going to be a very big deal. ABC's David Blaustein with more.
I can't stop this feeling. Chris Pratt is out to save the galaxy again, and this time he needs your help.
I have a plan. You've got a plan. Yes.
The Guardians of the Galaxy star is teaming up with Omaze to give one lucky fan the chance to hang out with him on the set of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 for a day. A collaboration between the actor and the fundraising platform is in support of the Lake Stevens Boys and Girls Club. David Blaustein, ABC News.
That's right, the Lake Stevens Boys and Girls Club. Chris Pratt, native, Northwest native. He seems like a pretty decent dude. Did you ever watch Parks and Rec?
I watched some of Parks and Rec.
He was on that show before he became movie star, big super movie star.
Super duper star. So you get to spend a day.
Sure.
So how do you get there? Do they fly you there? Do you have to
it's all part of
hitchhike?
the whole red carpet. I mean, I'm sure it's like a whole deal.
They give you a card so you can go out and get some clothes so you look presentable when you show up. So you're not wearing...
I have always wondered about that kind of stuff. They take you to the red carpet events. I mean, they have to provide you with something. Although I feel like...
I don't know. I think you just go to the movie set and watch them act, and you just sit there in the on the side and cheer them on or whatever.
Guardians of the Galaxy is a Marvel comic series with a lot of aliens and things like that. I'd imagine it could be pretty easy to get on the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's all green screened anyways.
Yeah.
I saw a video actually yesterday of David Bautista, who was the guy in red, and the big dude who was red and gray. He was also one of the bad guys in the latest James Bond movie, Spectre. Anyways, it was before the CGI stuff. And so he's patting a guy on his head, and the guy's in like this tight unitard, neon unitard, and that's who the Rocket raccoon character was. That'd be pretty cool. And Lake Stevens, local. Yeah. Why not?
There you go.
6:57 at iFIBER ONE News Radio. ABC News coming up just after a CNBC Business Radio report. Marilyn Foster on the way after that. She's talking about some of the stories, including she's got a mention on what is happening with a historic building that needs to be moved, or it will be raised in the next 30 to 60 days. Derek Kilmer, U.S. Representative, who we talked with yesterday on Daybreak, is going to be in town tonight at PUD 3. And Shelton leaders have hired a law firm to defend the city in a lawsuit filed by environmental activists against the city. Those stories are all coming up after ABC News in just a couple of moments. Also, the Sweet 16 gets going today. Tomorrow night, we have Gonzaga basketball taking on the Orange of Syracuse. Tonight, it's Duke and Oregon and Kansas and Maryland, Oklahoma at Texas A&M, Villanova, and Miami in the first part of the round of 16.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
CNBC Business Radio. Stocks are lower. The Dow's down 91 points. The Nasdaq lower by 29. St. Louis Fed President Jim Bullard says inflation is finally headed up. However, he said the jury is still out as to whether one-time special factors boosted readings in the first couple of months of the year. On Wednesday, Bullard joined other central bankers who have been suggesting the Fed could raise rates as early as next month. Starboard Value says it wants to oust the entire board of Yahoo. The activist hedge fund has been pushing for changes at the struggling internet company since 2014. Finish Line beating earnings forecast. The athletic apparel retailer benefiting from better supply chain management. And Yum Brands, parent of Taco Bell, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and Pizza Hut, is reportedly in talks with private equity firms KKR and Hopu Investments to sell a minority stake in its China operations.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Lopez. You see miracles all the time at our children's hospital. The first smile after surgery, a girl walking when they said she wouldn't, parents getting good news. But miracles never come easy. That's why, as great as children's hospitals are, they need our support to keep miracles happening. Please join me in supporting Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Put your money where the miracles are.
Spring. Well, that's what it was called before Honda's Dream Garage sales event. Now it's garage season. Hear that? That's the sound of a garage reaching greatness. Thank you, Honda, for allowing such beauty to exist.
Hurry in to the Honda Dream Garage sales event, where every 2016 vehicle has a standard rear-view camera, and well-qualified buyers can get 0.9% APR on the 2016 CR-V.
See dealer for financing details.
Tom Hartman is live and waiting your call weekdays from 9 to noon on iFIBER ONE News Radio, AM 1030, FM 1033, KMAS Shelton.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Karen Chase. 2 Brussels bombing suspects are the subjects of intensive manhunts across Belgium. One was captured on security cameras at the airport near the blasts, and another seen standing next to one of the metro bombers. ABC's Amy Robach is there.
It is a tense scene here in Brussels as authorities continue to hunt for those 2 missing suspects. And the airport here at Brussels will be closed through Saturday. It is still a crime scene as investigators comb through every detail to try and find more clues into finding these suspects.
He wants to get out of Brussels as soon as possible. That's what his lawyer says about the suspected mastermind of the Paris terror attacks. He'll no longer fight extradition to France. The jurors who awarded Hulk Hogan more than $140 million in damages from the website Gawker for posting his sex tape say they have no doubt they absolutely made the right decision. Juror Kevin Kennedy says Hogan is a celebrity, but he's also a human being.
Put yourself in their shoes if you have the ability to do that. I don't even know that they have the heart to be able to do that. It's just amazing everything that I listen to them. Like, they have no heart, no soul. It's all about the almighty dollar to them, and it's sick.
Gawker's Nick Denton says all's fair in love, war, and journalism.
He didn't like the story that we wrote. That's his right. It's the right of the jury not to like the story that we wrote. But it's a free press. And in this country, people are allowed to write what they want, and people are allowed to read what they want.
He's planning to appeal. A JetBlue flight attendant is facing federal charges for allegedly running off from a security checkpoint at LAX and leaving behind a bag full of cocaine. She took off after being randomly selected for extra security screenings, leaving behind an expensive pair of shoes and running barefoot out of the airport. A state of emergency has been declared in parts of Kansas, where 2 wildfires are raging. One is heading for a town of 2,000, where people are under voluntary evacuation orders. More than 100 acres have gone up in flames. This is ABC News.
Aches, pains, looking for a solution to silence arthritis? Blue Emu Maximum Arthritis Pain Relief Cream is the answer. Use it for arthritis pain, strains, sprains, bruises, and more. Don't let your achy joints and muscles slow you down. Make you feel like you again. Give Blue Emu Maximum Arthritis Pain Relief Cream a try today. Beat the pain.
Available in stores nationwide.
4, 3, 2, 1. Friday's first Endless Apps of 2016 begins now. We are a go. That's right. America's favorite guilty pleasure is back. And $10 still gets you endless rounds of your favorite app. Like mozzarella sticks, loaded potato skins, or 8 styles of wings. We're talking endless rounds of the best appetizers on Earth.
More endless apps for mankind.
Endless apps are back at Friday.
Suck at that.
A small town in Vermont has become a mecca for birders trying to catch a glimpse of a rare sight. ABC's Dave Schreiber has the story.
Birdwatchers have flocked to Pittsfield, Vermont. They are hoping to see the painted bunting. It is a rare bird that some call a flying rainbow. Normally, it doesn't make it north of the Carolinas in its travels on the East Coast. A conservation biologist with the Vermont Center for Eco Studies says for the 6th time since 1993, the painted bunting has made a Vermont appearance. The birds are more noticeable than others that end up out of range because of their plumage. Besides, it says it seems very unlikely the bird in Vermont was a pet that was released from captivity. Dave Schreiber, ABC News.
Secretary of State John Kerry is in Moscow, where he happened to run into astronaut Scott Kelly. He joked with the astronaut about his height change in space. Kelly says he stretched a little but then shrank back when he returned to gravity. Kerry asked how he was feeling, and he said he's still sore. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
From the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. Chilton leaders have hired a law firm to defend the city in a lawsuit filed by environmental activists who say it's taken too long to clean up the C Street landfill. The city commissioners approved the hiring of Foster Pepper PLCC to perform an estimated 50 to 80 hours of time in the lawsuit, Waste Action Project versus City of Shelton. Waste Action Project is part of the Northwest Toxic Communities Coalition. It filed the lawsuit in December against the city, stating it's taken too long to clean up the dump, also known as the Shelton landfill. A letter from Foster Pepper informed the city that the firm's discounted hourly rates range from $285 to $475 an hour, depending on the attorney used. U.S. Congressman Derek Kilmer called into Daybreak yesterday morning to talk about a number of things, including a visit tonight to Shelton for discussion about the Olympic Peninsula Forest Collaborative. That's an effort to create jobs and grow the economy in the region by bringing the timber industry and the conservation community together to figure out ways to manage our forests better.
We're going to have a public meeting of the collaborative and invite people's questions and input and just provide an update on what the collaborative has been up to. You know, that's an example of some of the stuff we're working on to try to grow jobs in our area. You know, the effort around increasing the use of some of the innovative wood products like cross-laminated timber, you know, provides the potential for sort of timber 2.0 in our region. So that's something I've been working on. And then even outside the timber industry, a lot of my focus has been on just trying to grow small businesses and support economic development in our region, because I do not want our region's top export to be our young people, and that's going to continue to be a priority for me.
That public meeting is this evening at 7 p.m. at Mason PUD 3 on Johns Prairie Road. And you can hear the full interview with the congressman on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1Newsradio.com. City officials are looking at ways to move and preserve the 67-year-old historic Simpson Lumber Dispatch Building that's on industrial land being redeveloped for a new Sierra Pacific Industries sawmill. SPI has given the city 30 days to come up with a plan for saving the structure, or it will be torn down when the company builds a new mill on the site. Lisa Perry, Sierra Pacific Industries Community Relations Representative, told iFIBER One News that Sierra Pacific would be flexible, possibly up to 60 days, as long as the city made progress on moving the building. The building needs to be moved because the main electrical conduit to the future mill site runs under the railroad building. Sierra Pacific's new sawmill could be under construction in late spring or early summer and completed in early 2017. For iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Marilyn Foster.
Join Alex Jones weeknights from 6 to 10 on iFIBER One News Radio.
Now they're moving where there's kill switches in the last 3 years on all the new phones. And these are now in the threat fusion centers. The average cops haven't been getting access to it yet, but they will. Where you hit a button and on a street level or a grid level or part of a city or a whole state, all the phones stop working entirely or the camera functions turn off. I told you about that 10 years ago. It's now in the news last year and this year because they're rolling out with it operationally at the Homeland Security level.
Ascend Roofing Company in Shelton's on top of it. 868-2730. Roofing work that speaks for itself.
Just a note to express our appreciation for restoring our faith in a handshake. You did what you said you would, and that's all anyone can expect.
We truly appreciate the work that was done. And your son Ryan is a wonderful representative of your company. Thank you again for making the gutters clean and our roof moss resistant.
You could be the next happy customer by calling Ascend Roofing. 868-2730.
Now, from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Jeff Slakey.
Thank you. Good morning. 7:08 at iFIBER One News Radio, AM 1030 and FM 103.3. Wild game yesterday. The Mariners lost 13-12 to the Oakland Athletics. Combined, the teams scored 16 runs in the first 2.5 innings. Chris Iannetta had 3 hits and drove in 4 runs for the Mariners just by himself. Our next Mariners game tonight at 7 against the Colorado Rockies. Former Mariner Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod, you may remember him as A-Rod. He is going to retire after the 2017 season. Gosh, I remember his fresh young face. What was it, 95, 96, around those times?
We all had fresh young faces back then.
Back in the mid-90s. And he was just a young ball player as Griffey and Joey Cora and all those guys. And now, he's been playing for a long time. Washington freshman Marquise Chris and DeJounte Murray have declared for the NBA draft. Washington lost the other day in the NIT tournament, so their season ended. They're going to go for the draft. They're hiring agents. It has been one season that they spent in their collegiate careers. Seattle goalkeeper Tyler Miller replaced injured Zach Steffen on the U.S. U-23 roster for the Olympic qualifying playoffs against Colombia. The Americans will play at Barranquilla tomorrow in the first leg of the Total Goal Series. The NCAA men's tournament continues today. Number 1 Oregon takes on Duke in the Sweet 16, also Villanova and Miami, Oklahoma and Texas, and Kansas and Maryland. The night game is the Oregon and Duke one. It's on TBS at 6:55. Tomorrow on iFIBER One News Radio, we have Gonzaga basketball taking on the Orange. 6:40. The pregame is at 6:20 on AM 1030 and FM 103.3. 7:10 now, and taking a look at the South Downs forecast, here's Carol Gardner.
Good morning. We got a lot of rain this morning. There are some soaker showers out there, but we are having some breaks. And as we head into the afternoon, it will be more scattered around the area. We'll have highs in the upper 40s to low 50s. And the rain continues overnight and into the morning. It'll clear tomorrow afternoon. And Saturday is looking to be the driest for this Easter weekend because we do have more rain coming in Sunday. But when we get through this weekend, the long-range forecast is calling for warm and sunny weather by the middle of next week.
So a lot of folks are going to be spending the driest day of the weekend
outside working.
I was going to say in caucusing.
Oh, That's probably true also in the morning hours.
In the morning.
Mm-hmm.
To see how long we think this is going to take, this caucus thing on Saturday.
Now,
Not waffling yet.
iFIBER ONE News Radio Studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor, your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
7:12 at iFIBER ONE News Radio, and a good morning to you. The caucuses are on Saturday, and 10 o'clock is when they start for the Democrats. You can go to wa-democrats.org and fill out a registration form early, so it's all ready to go when you get there. I got some more stuff in the mail from candidates saying, make sure you caucus, show up at 9, but no later than 10, and there's a lot of stuff going on Saturday, Carol. I'm not quite sure. I want to be able to get in and do the voting thing, but there are Easter egg hunts all weekend long. It'll be fun to take Kaiser too as well.
Do you guys do Easter eggs yourselves?
He made 2 Easter eggs at daycare yesterday.
He did, real eggs.
Real eggs.
Oh,
hard-boiled eggs.
Wow.
I was going to have them for breakfast this morning.
And he would have woke up and said, where's my eggs? And Daddy ate them.
That's fine because...
crushed shells everywhere.
Crushed shells, crushed hope,
Kaiser.
Crushed Kaiser. Coming up next, Dr. Diana Yu will be on the air talking about World Tuberculosis Day. We've got more great guests to come up as well. It's all right here on Daybreak.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
I feel right at home on JohnLScott.com.
Hi, this is Dawn Pinnell from John L. Scott Real Estate here in Shelton. For a while now, I have been saying welcome home and sharing with you some great listings and some hopefully educational and interesting items of riveting radio real estate topics.
Don Pinnell's Radio Real Estate every other Friday at 8:45 on iFIBER ONE News Radio, AM 1030 and FM 1033.
I would love to help you say, I'm home.
Tax deductions you may not know about. I'm ABC's Richard Davies with today's tax tip. What are the most frequently overlooked tax deductions?
People forgetting to report state taxes that they've paid.
Those are deductible on your federal return, says tax accountant Janice Heyman.
And also we have different property taxes. They may not think of tax paid on land outside of their main home.
Most people know that donations to a registered charity can be claimed as tax write-offs, but make sure you document what's been spent.
You really do want to go through your receipts, add up all your actual charitable donations. I think people are really missing out on a full deduction here because they're just guesstimating.
Long-term health insurance is also deductible.
It would be considered a deduction for medical expense, but also if you're self-employed, it would be considered a self-employed health deduction.
Some states offer tax credits too for long-term health insurance payments. With today's tax tip, Richard Davies, ABC News.
Wittenberg CPA is a professional accounting, tax, and financial consulting firm serving the diverse needs of their businesses and individual clients. They bring excellence and integrity to every aspect of their work, from accounting software support like QuickBooks to tax preparation for individual and business needs, as well as personal, financial, and estate planning services. Wittenberg CPA has the services you or your business needs this year for taxes. Find them online at wittenbergcpa.com or call 426-0230. That's 426-0230.
iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 1033 presents Daybreak.
Well, good morning and welcome back to Daybreak. Thursday, it is World Tuberculosis Day, and we're talking with the Mason County Health Officer, Dr. Diana Yu, in studio. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Tuberculosis. I think a lot of people thought that we had eradicated that. Is it still around?
Oh, yes, it's still around. You know, it's a disease that's actually been around for over 17,000 years, if you can imagine. They've found it in fossils and, fossilized animals. They found it in mummies everywhere. And it used to be called a scourge. It used to be called a lot of different things.
And tuberculosis is a disease that's caused by a bacteria and it's spread when somebody who has a TB in their lungs cough. And a person becomes exposed just by breathing. You're in the same room with somebody who's coughing and they have TB, and you have to breathe. Yeah. So the germs enter into your lung, and most of the time, your body, your natural immune system fights it off, kills the germs, and no problem. But it's as simple as that, just breathing, and you can breathe in a TB germ. And it's not that easy to catch. If you think about it, there's a lot of people who are exposed to TB who never become infected with it. And one of the things about TB that is kind of different than other diseases is you can become infected with TB. The germ is in your body, but it never acts. It never causes disease. It just sits there. And you don't know it's there.
Right.
And then someday, maybe, in a year or someday in the future, all of a sudden you start getting sick. And because the germ then activates and start causing problems in your body. So in a lot of ways, tuberculosis is a very hidden disease. And that is part of the reason why we have not been able to eradicate it.
So if it's in a person's body but not active, when they are breathing, do they breathe out?
Nope. No.
It has to be an active virus.
That is correct. And it has to be active disease in your lung or your throat. So I could have tuberculosis in my spine and it wouldn't infect anybody else.
Oh.
Because the way you get it is by breathing it in. And you can only breathe it in when somebody puts it out into the air that you breathe.
How long is it alive out in the air after it's been breathed out?
Essentially, in your studio, in a little enclosed space like this, where there's no air movement, it could stay hanging up in the air for quite a while, maybe a day. So the things that you do to get rid of the TB in your air in your room is to open the door and run a fan through and do what we call an air exchange. We're fortunate that we live in an environment that's pretty moist, with all the rain that we get. So moisture also does that. If you have TB and you're coughing outside, it's not going to infect anybody. Because, the natural air movement around us just kind of dissipates that germ and it goes away. So it is spending a lot of time with somebody in an enclosed space where there's not a lot of air exchanging. The reality, we don't have that much tuberculosis in the United States or in Washington State. I mean, we have 2 to 3 cases out of 100,000 population. But tuberculosis is still a number one killer. It has surpassed HIV as the number one killer in terms of an infectious disease in the world. Every minute, there are 3 people who die of tuberculosis.
Where would the majority of these outbreaks be from?
In general, when you live in certain countries where there's a high burden of tuberculosis, that's where you see a lot of cases. For Americans who travel and you want to live with the natives, you want to really get into the culture, and you go and live in a hut somewhere, or you volunteer and work in a medical mission overseas, or, you want to, take your year off from college and go live in the Philippines for a year. And you want to just really experience life, and you live with a local family in their home. Somebody in the home could have tuberculosis. And if you're sharing the home, they're coughing and breathing. And when you think of cough, you think of the coughing like you do when you have the flu.
Right.
It's like big hacking cough. A person with tuberculosis may not actually cough that hard. They just clear their throat a lot. Or they may cough a little bit, or they have little spasms of coughing, but enough so that the germ kind of comes out in the air and hangs there for a while. In the olden days, people would get tuberculosis because fresh air was bad for you. They kept all the windows closed.
Right.
And so you will see historically the Bronte family, very prolific, very famous writers. I mean, majority of them died of tuberculosis. Why? They kept it in the family. They kept the windows, everything closed. Within a family, within a household, oftentimes a parent or some adult will have tuberculosis and they'll give it to the children. And the children catch tuberculosis much easier.
Sure.
On the other hand, they also their immune systems are usually good. So they will kind of encapsulate or take care of the TB germ and it doesn't act up. But then when they're in their teens or in their 20s, they could break down and they can have active tuberculosis. And it wasn't until the 1950s, 60 years ago, where medications were discovered to treat tuberculosis. And a lot of older folks around here still remember the days when Uncle so-and-so or Aunt so-and-so or their mother or father or some relative ended up going to a sanatorium.
What did they think what was happening to the person to send them to a sanitarium? What I mean, is that just where everybody was sent back in the old days?
In the old days, that was where you went to get fresh air.
Oh, okay.
And treatment for lung conditions. So they did that for asthma. They did that for tuberculosis. But the sanatoriums, by the 1940s, the 1920s, people were well aware that tuberculosis was caused by a bacteria, but we had no way of curing it. So the only cure was to send people away, because we also knew that people who had tuberculosis and were living in their households were infecting their children. Today, if you are exposed to tuberculosis and we find that you have an infection, we can give you an effective medication to treat you so you will never get disease. But in the 50s, that was not the case. So we have people who are baby boomers, right?
Yeah.
They grew up in an area where an aunt or an uncle may have had tuberculosis, and they're not even thinking of that. What I want people to realize listening to this radio broadcast today is, I had an aunt that lived with us, or my uncle lived with us when I was a little kid. And I remembered he died of TB, or he got sent to a sanatorium, or that happened to my grandfather, or that happened. And so for anybody that had an exposure to tuberculosis when they were young, this is still certainly a possibility that you might have a TB infection. It may not have shown up yet. There's a 10% lifetime risk that you will develop active TB.
What are some things that people, you mentioned a slight cough, like a clearing your throat type cough. Are there any other visual symptoms that someone may see?
Yes. So tuberculosis is a diagnosis. When I say think TB, I want you to think, number one, did somebody have an exposure to tuberculosis before? Number two, the symptoms that you think of are fever, coughing for, not severe coughing, but kind of coughing all the time over a couple of weeks, more than 3 or 4 weeks, months even. Weight loss, night sweats. The kind of night sweats I'm talking about are, you go to sleep at night and you have to get up in the middle of the night and change your bedclothes because it's soaking wet. Weight loss, unexplained weight loss. People think of tuberculosis when you see the old movies, somebody coughs up blood.
Right.
That's usually pretty late. By then, somebody has already lost a lot of weight. There's a lot of fatigue. And if you put all of this together, these could be the same symptoms as somebody who's got lung cancer, for example, or somebody who's got chronic lung disease. And so sometimes it's hard to tell. And if you're not thinking TB, and the critical piece here is, yes, I have been exposed to TB sometime in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And if that is there, then we need to rule it out. We need to make sure that what you're suffering from is not a curable disease. But if this is actually caused by tuberculosis, I can give you medication, I can cure it.
So someone can go to their healthcare provider and ask for a TB test?
Yes. There are screening tests that we can do. Used to be we would poke your forearm. I don't know if you're old enough to remember that, but most people, who are in their, 40s or 50s remember getting a little skin poke on their forearm, and that was called a TB skin test when they were in school. The skin tests is still available, but there's also now a blood test where they just take some blood and they test you to see if you have antibodies against tuberculosis.
And then how long is the treatment?
So that is the tuberculosis. That's the kicker here. Tuberculosis is a disease that takes a long time to develop. And because it takes a long time to develop, it takes a long time to treat. So treatment for the disease is 6 to 9 months. Treatment for the infection is 4 to 6 months, but using different drugs. So if you're being treated for an infection to prevent you from getting disease, oftentimes we can get away with just giving you one type of pill. If you have disease, the treatment involves taking 4 different types of antibiotics at the same time. And one of the reasons why we do that is because all of these drugs were discovered in the 50s and 60s. And there's really not been a lot of new drugs coming to market. These drugs are very effective. We call them first-line drugs against TB. But if you take just one of them, because the TB germ grows so slow, it can actually develop resistance. So what we've done, the strategy that we've done to prevent development of resistance is to actually blast it with 4 different antibiotics. So that any one time, if your body develops resistance to one, you still have 3 that are working to fight the disease. In Mason County, we maybe have 1 case about every year or 2. We don't have that many active TB cases, but we certainly have a lot of people who have TB infection.
Right.
And if we can identify all of those people and get them on treatment, hopefully we can prevent them from coming down with TB in the future. My hope, today is World TB Day. My hope is someday to celebrate World No TB Day. We're getting close, 2.9 per 100,000. The goal of to say that we've eliminated is to actually get down to less than 1 per 100,000. But when you think about it, tuberculosis kills 3 people every minute.
Yeah, and that is a lot.
That is a lot.
Today is World Tuberculosis Day, and we've been talking with Mason County Health Officer Dr. Diana Yu. You can find out all about tuberculosis on the internet online, cdc.gov, a great resource for all these epidemics and things that are happening all across the world. World TB Day, if perhaps you have family members you remember, and then you start feeling some symptoms, maybe it's time to get checked.
Yeah, the one other resource, if you want to do something, there is an organization called Stop TB USA. It's a really good way for people to take action.
All right, Stop TB USA. We'll link to that on the website where the interview will be just after we get off the show here. Dr. Diana Yu, thank you so much. Always nice talking with you.
You're welcome.
Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
From the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. Shelton leaders have hired a law firm to defend the city in a lawsuit filed by environmental activists who say it's taken too long to clean up the C Street landfill. The city commissioners approved the hiring of Foster Pepper PLCC to perform an estimated 50 to 80 hours of time in the lawsuit, Waste Action Project versus City of Shelton. Waste Action Project is part of the Northwest Toxic Communities Coalition. It filed the lawsuit in December against the city, stating it's taken too long to clean up the dump, also known as the Shelton landfill. A letter from Foster Pepper informed the city The firm's discounted hourly rates range from $285 to $475 an hour, depending on the attorney used. U.S. Congressman Derek Kilmer called into Daybreak yesterday morning to talk about a number of things, including a visit tonight to Shelton for discussion about the Olympic Peninsula Forest Collaborative. That's an effort to create jobs and grow the economy in the region by bringing the timber industry and the conservation community together to figure out ways to manage our forests better.
We're going to have a public meeting of the collaborative and invite people's questions and input and just provide an update on what the collaborative has been up to. You know, that's an example of some of the stuff we're working on to try to grow jobs in our area. You know, the effort around increasing the use of some of the innovative wood products like cross-laminated timber, you know, provides the potential for sort of timber 2.0 in our region. So that's something I've been working on. And then even outside the timber industry, a lot of my focus has been on just trying to grow small businesses and support economic development in our region, because I do not want our region's top export to be our young people, and that's going to continue to be a priority for me.
That public meeting is this evening at 7 p.m. at Mason PUD 3 on Johns Prairie Road. And you can hear the full interview with the congressman on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1Newsradio.com. City officials are looking at ways to move and preserve the 67-year-old historic Simpson Lumber Dispatch Building that's on industrial land being redeveloped for a new Sierra Pacific Industries sawmill. SPI has given the city 30 days to come up with a plan for saving the structure, or it will be torn down when the company builds a new mill on the site. Lisa Perry, Sierra Pacific Industries Community Relations Representative, told iFIBER One News that Sierra Pacific would be flexible, possibly up to 60 days, as long as the city made progress on moving the building. The building needs to be moved because the main electrical conduit to the future mill site runs under the railroad building. Sierra Pacific's new sawmill could be under construction in late spring or early summer and completed in early 2017. For iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Marilyn Foster.
Gillis Auto Center in Shelton. Best deals, best price, best trade, and low payments. Whether you're looking for a car, truck, hybrid, SUV, or performance car, we have them at the all-new Gillis Auto Center. Just go to Gillis, where low overhead and low sales tax means great savings for you. Family-owned Gillis Auto Center, where you get the lowest price at professional, courteous service. The all-new Gillis Auto Center in Shelton at the City Center Matlock exit and 24/7 at GillisAutoCenter.com.
Now, from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Jeff Slakey.
Good morning to you, 7:34 at iFIBER One News Radio. Wild game yesterday. Mariners lost 13-12 to the Oakland A's, but the teams themselves combined for 16 runs in the first 2.5 innings. That's a lot of baseball in a short amount of time. Chris Iannetta had 3 hits, drove in 4 runs for the Mariners, and our next Mariners game is tonight at 7 against the Rockies. The NCAA men's tournament continues today, and number 1 Oregon takes on Duke in the final game of the day. And tomorrow we have got Gonzaga basketball taking on the Orange of Syracuse at 6:40. The pregame at 6:20, and it's right here on AM 1030 and FM 103.3. 7:35 right now, and moving to the South Sounds forecast. Here's Carol.
Heavy showers are moving through this morning, becoming scattered showers this afternoon, and right now it's 40 in Shelton.
Now, from the iFIBER One News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You, from business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor, your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
Enough. 7:35 at iFIBER One News Radio. Good morning to you, Jeff and Carol on Daybreak, and we are happy to have great guests in studio with us this morning. Will and Laura Farr annually coming on in talking about Shelton Fiddle Fest. Good morning.
Howdy, Jeff
Hey,
and Carol.
Good
morning.
to see you. Good to see you. Can't wait to hear some great fiddle music. And Shelton Fiddle Fest is coming up next weekend, Saturday, April 2nd. shows are at 1 and 6. We have information on where to get tickets in a few moments, but this has been going on for quite a long time now, hasn't it?
Since 1985.
Wow, that's a long time. You guys been involved the whole time?
No. We've only been involved since 06.
Okay. I was on the website, fiddlefest.org. Fiddlefest.com.
Shelton Fiddlefest.
SheltonFiddlefest.com is what it was.
Right.
And it says District 5 of the Washington Old Time Fiddlers, in association with the Shelton High School Choir, proud to present Fiddlefest. What is District 5 of the Washington Old Time Fiddlers?
Well, the Washington Old Time Fiddlers is a statewide organization, and we are divided into districts. And District 5 is comprised of Mason, Kitsap, Grays Harbor, and Pacific counties. So it's a very wide, we go all the way from the Oregon border, almost, on the Pacific County side to Bainbridge Island.
Wow.
Yeah, so we cover a wide area.
Is there a lot of good talent in Basin 5? District 5?
Yes.
What's the kind of feel for fiddle music these days? Are people continuing to listen and perform fiddle music?
Oh yeah, lots. It's rampant. There's fiddle camps all over the country.
We have a lot of those things that happen here. There's summer programs that go on, and we get a lot of folks that come in from all around.
Right.
For the Old Timers Fiddle Fest and things like that. So when you're looking at Fiddle Fest, something like this, you got 2 shows, and it's kind of morphed over the years, and now we've got 2 programs for you. Who are the people that will be performing on April 2nd?
Well, we have a number of people. Phil and Vivian Williams from District 6 over in King County, the Seattle area, are back again this year. And we have lots of people from our own district here. Raymond Selby is a great swing fiddle player. And his backup guy is Alan Troop, who used to be from Ephrata and was involved with the iFIBER ONE over there. We have a lot of kids.
That's great.
We have the Crichton family again.
The important thing.
Yeah. And the Silwick kids. They combined to do a great set. So they'll be opening the second half of the evening show. And we also have the Nakla kids. The entire family. So there's 6 kids and mom and dad. So that's quite a show too. So there's lots of kids involved, and the choir as well. They're going to be doing some beautiful, spirituals this year.
Oh,
nice. Not fiddle tunes as they have in the past. So this is going to be kind of different, but they're doing a couple that I remember doing in choir when I was in high school. So I'm really excited to hear it.
So are these going to be individual performance by the choir, or is it going to be a kind of call back and forth?
No, they're going to do their own thing. Oh, wow. Yeah, they're going to do their own thing.
It is on Saturday, April 2nd, 1 and 6 are 2 shows at the Performing Arts Center at the high school. Let's hear some music.
Okay, we're going to do a tune called Sleeping Giant and Manitoba Golden Boy.
All right. That's a good song. It's so nice to have music on the air every so often with Will and Laura Farr talking about Shelton Fiddle Fest. How, so you guys have been playing for a long time. How long would it take you to know enough songs where you can comfortably jump on up and feel like you can perform almost anything? You follow the chord changes or something like that, you guys?
Well, it just depends on when you start.
The kids do it a lot faster.
Yeah, the kids do it a lot faster. So, like these Crichton kids, I'll give you a great example.
Okay.
Hunter started with me about 7 years ago, and he was 10. And within a few weeks of his coming to his lesson, his older sister Sydney started showing up too with a fiddle in her hand, and I'm just going, okay. And within a few months, those two were teaching their younger two brothers.
Oh, wow.
And they have come along so far. And now they play as a family band, and they arrange their own tunes. You're going to hear some really great stuff from them. They arrange their own tunes, and they just mess with them and do really fun things with them. So it's really going to be fun.
If you're talking about fiddle music, what is it part of the country genre, or is it part of the bluegrass Americana genre?
Well, it does all kind of blend after a while, but like what we like to do is more old time, like barn dance kind of thing. And back in the day when they used to travel by horseback, and they meet at somebody's house on the weekend and move all the furniture, roll up the rugs, and the kids would be looking out from the upstairs loft, and they'd have a big barn dance. So like square dance music and contra dance music, and yeah.
They had a little moonshine in the background.
I'm sure.
I'm sure there was moonshine there too.
Yeah,
but then it's morphed into things like bluegrass, and we have the swing era too, and it all comes out of these basic tunes, and it's just whatever people do with them,
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're really versatile.
A lot of folks may be familiar with songs that will be played on the 2nd. They just weren't aware that they were recognizable.
We have another really great group coming this year that's new. Ida Claire is a friend of ours that teaches banjo at our annual workshop over in Moses Lake. And she and a couple of her friends have been playing in a band for quite some time now, and they're coming from Vashon Island.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to be real fun to see them for the first time.
So still a lot of people are getting involved in this and coming from all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Is this one of the bigger fests, would you say?
I don't think it's particularly that big. It's not big like the Bluegrass Festival is. That has a different kind of following altogether.
Right,
so.
but like District 5 and with other places in Washington that you guys go to.
I don't know that there's other districts that do put on shows, but it's not, usually it's just one show, one day.
It's probably the largest show within the organization, the old time.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is just about time to give away some tickets to Shelton Fiddle Fest. Do you have another song prepared?
We could play a waltz for you real quickly if you'd like.
Let's hear a waltz.
This is Sir John MacDonald's.
been to this Shelton Auditorium there where you guys are going to be performing, and is there enough room for folks to get out and start dancing up and down the aisles and things like that?
We'd love it.
I mean, when I hear this kind of music, I just start kind of, I could definitely see grabbing, doing a little waltz. Very nice. All right, we've got some pairs of tickets. We have a couple sets for the AM show, a couple sets for the PM show. 360-462-1041. We'll open the phone lines if you're interested in going to Shelton's Fiddle Fest this upcoming Saturday, April 2nd. Will and Laura Farr are in studio. You guys are coming back next week, too, to play some more and talk a little bit about this. Okay. Well, we will continue to have the phone lines open, and we'll have this interview on our website later so you can rewatch that one. We'll talk with you guys next week then.
That sounds great.
360-462-1041. The listener line is open now and waiting your call for tickets to Shelton Fiddle Fest. Phone's ringing right now, so we'll get that person, and we'll be back after this.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
Taylor Shellfish is a proud sponsor of the Environmentally Sound program. For 5 generations, the Taylor family's been stewards of a healthy and prosperous Puget Sound. In partnership with nature, Taylor Shellfish brings you the freshest, most sustainable shellfish you'll ever eat. Visit their store at 136 Southeast Lynch Road, open daily from 10 to 6, and they're online at TaylorShellfishFarms.com.
Mason County Garbage and Recycling on Johns Prairie here in Shelton is pleased to offer safe and efficient removal services. Mason County Garbage and Recycling is always mindful of environmental standards and is continuously striving for the highest excellence. Mason County Garbage and Recycling, upholding your trust within the community. Questions? Call 426-8729. In Belfair, 275-4590.
If you care about what's going on around here, subscribe to the Shelton Mason County Journal. You will learn something useful about your neighborhood, upcoming events, your community, and coworkers. Laugh at the comics, cry with the obituaries, learn about local concerts, games, and new businesses. Being informed is worth it in so many ways. Subscribe today. Call 360-426-4412 or visit masoncounty.com. Check out the Journal's garage sales, too. Try it. You'll love it.
Hi, I'm Ken Slater, the Roof Doctor. If you're like me, your family's important, so make sure that they're well taken care of. One of the best ways to do that is to provide a safe and warm home to live in. For over 50 years, the Roof Doctor has been helping families stay safe and warm by building roofs that last for generations. Our teams have some of the most experienced roofers in the area, and we only use the highest quality materials to keep your family safe, warm, and dry. That's the Roof Doctor. Give us a call.
Hi guys, Kat here with iFIBER ONE Newsradio. What if I told you that radio advertising is far more effective than print media? Think about all of your customers driving to work, appointments, or events, all the while listening to the radio. Imagine your commercial airs on iFIBER ONE Newsradio and the customer decides, hey, I'm right by there. I'm going to go check it out. Radio captures you and literally speaks to you and your customers several times a day. This enables you to build a unique message that reminds your customers what you have to offer. Remember, your customers can either drive to you or through you. And here at iFIBER ONE Newsradio, we want to direct customers to you. Being the only talk radio formatted station in the entire South Sound region, we have an entire new market for your business to advertise in. As your sales lady, I take pride in providing your business with the best advertising because I want your business to succeed. So call me today at 360-463-2558 and ask for Kat.
The Chad Benson Show.
Have you ever noticed that anytime Hillary's involved in anything, there's controversy? They're going to do all they can to keep her away because every time she's in public, every time she is going to be asked a question, more often than not, it's not going to come out well for her because things are going to be brought up that she would rather have go away.
The Chad Benson Show.
Hey, it's Chad Benson. Join me this afternoon from 3 to 6 on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
The taste of victory is sweet.
The Gonzaga Bulldogs are headed to the Sweet 16.
But there's still work to be done.
Wilcher, step back three from the left side. Oh, McClellan, two-handed throw down. All the way to the rim. It's reverses. Good at the buzzer.
Tune in Friday as Gonzaga battles Syracuse in the Sweet 16.
Spinning, and scoring.
They are making it look easy. Tip-off is set for 6:40 on the Toyota Gonzaga IMG Sports Network. Gonzaga Hughes.
iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Well, good morning to you. It is Daybreak here at iFIBER ONE News Radio. Congratulations to Donna and Claudia calling in, winning tickets to Shelton's Fiddle Fest. We'll have more tickets to give away next week. 7:51. It is National Nutrition Month. We've been focusing on nutrition at this time all month long, and we continue our conversations today with moving on to senior nutrition. And from the Mason County Senior Activities Center, Terry Shaw is in studio, along with from Senior Services for the South Sound, Kathy Visser is here. Good morning to you both. How you doing?
Great. Good morning.
Thanks for coming in. So we've been talking about nutrition, and it's an important thing, and we have a lot of seniors in our area, in our listening area. So I thought it'd be kind of interesting to talk about nutrition and senior nutrition, and what are some changes that
what's for lunch?
Breakfast.
Some changes that people need to make as they age a little bit. So Kathy, let's start with you with Senior Services for the South Sound. What kind of nutrition programs do you guys have in place?
Sure. Yeah. Well, we have community dining for people 60 years of age and older, and also Meals on Wheels for people who are homebound. We do community education. We partner with Mason County Senior Activities Center for our program, and we provide education, nutrition, an opportunity for people to socialize.
When it comes to the actual food delivered, like for Meals on Wheels, are there guidelines that you follow to have the 4 basic food groups, or a certain amount of nutrition?
Great question. Yeah, so I'm a dietitian. I plan the menus, and we provide, each meal provides a third of a person's needs. So a nice serving of protein, or an alternative to protein like beans, or sometimes tofu, not too often, with the generations that we're working with at this point. Always 3 servings of fruits and vegetables, a nice grain, milk, or an alternative, and usually some dessert. So it's a pretty full meal.
And people they're happy with the balanced diet?
Sure, we get great feedback. We survey people every year, and of course people just offer their feedback.
I'm sure.
And sometimes that's mixed, but usually people are really happy with our service.
And Terry, at the Senior Center, how is it set up when seniors come in for the food services that are offered up there?
Well, one thing I wanted to mention, we have a long relationship with Senior Services for South Sound, because their nutrition program is so important, and the seniors just love it. We have a lot of positive feedback with it. So one thing I wanted to make clear is you do not have to be a member of the Senior Center to participate with the nutrition program. So you can have your Meals on Wheels, or you can come in and dine. The community dining, the meal is served at 12 noon, and you just come in, a little before, or during that, probably for about half an hour. It's best to come right at 12, and you can participate in that, visit with people, but you don't need to be a Senior Center member. So we want to make sure everyone understands that. There's a lot of good parking at our new facility at the Pavilion, and everyone is welcome. We'd love to see you, and you'll be really pleased with what a wonderful program they run.
Got a pretty nice kitchen in there as well, if I remember right. Kathy, is that where the food is packaged, or is that in Thurston County?
Oh, no, it's prepared right on site. So we have a cook that scratch prepares the food and prepares it and serves it right there on site.
And then when folks are interested, let's talk about being interested in getting some of these services, like the Meals on Wheels program. Kathy, how do we contact and sign up for this? Are there stipulations that we need to make sure?
Just have people give us a call at Senior Services at 360-586-6181, and we can screen them and see if they might qualify for Meals on Wheels. But again, for community dining, they don't have to be a member of the senior center. They can just come in. They have to be 60 or over, and it's a suggested donation. So if they can give, we ask for $3 to $6. If they're unable to give, we want people to come in and eat.
And I forgot what my question was going to be. Oh, no. When we get a little older and in the age, what are some changes that we need to make for our nutrition? What should we focus on more that maybe we hadn't on earlier in our
Right. Well, I think most people have noticed it gets a little bit harder to keep the weight off because some people become a little less active. So you still need as many nutrients. So fruits and vegetables, maybe a good multivitamin, but mostly fruits and vegetables, some good protein, watching the extra fats or the added sugars, but just really trying to focus on a good whole meal. And also some people have some problems with their teeth, so they may need food that's steamed, like the vegetables may need to be steamed or a little softer. The meat may need to be cooked in a way that it's a little softer than when a person is younger.
And that can all be accommodated both at the senior center or if there's the delivery of the Meals on Wheels?
We're pretty aware of that, of people's needs, and we accommodate the people that we serve. Yeah.
Is it still a 2,000 calorie a day situation for seniors in nutrition?
For seniors, we base our 1/3 of a person's needs based on about 1,700 calories because seniors need a few less calories. Maybe you probably need more like 2,500 to 3,000 calories, especially if you're active. A woman might need, an active woman who's 50 might need about 2,500. But as we age, our need for calories go down, but our need for good nutrition really doesn't.
Oh, interesting. And locally, we've got a lot of, we got a big fish population. We eat a lot of fish around here. Is that a helpful thing? You hear a lot about fatty acids or omegas and stuff like that.
Right. That's a wonderful way to eat. We are so lucky here in the Puget Sound to have the seafood, salmon with a lot of omega-3 fatty acids, good for your heart, good for your cholesterol. And seafood, the oysters and clams, that's a wonderful way to get your protein and a lot of other things as well.
And I can imagine, Terry, the seniors coming into the senior center for lunch, they get a visit with others and also they get to eat their lunch. So it's more than just getting a good food.
Yes.
It's a healthy all-around type of thing.
It's the feeding the body and feeding the soul and the emotions, the socialization. The people are very friendly. So it's a wonderful thing. One thing I do want to mention, their nutrition program is Monday through Thursday. Because there is a need for Fridays, we do the Friday meal, but we don't have outside funding on that. So it's $3 for any age, 50 and older that come in. We have a pretty balanced meal, but it's, by donation, and we have volunteer cooks that are cooking. So we're always looking for people to help with that and to, we love it if businesses want to donate, once a quarter or whatever to come in and do the cooking. That would be great. And another thing for people to participate, I know that their Meals on Wheels program, that they are looking for drivers right now.
Oh, yes.
So if you want to volunteer and support this wonderful program, if you would help out when they're down some drivers and their site manager has to go out to do the deliveries because the demand is so great. Also help in the kitchen. We are looking for Fridays, but other days of the week they need help too. So if you really want to support this, it would be a wonderful program, and it's so meaningful for the people. And another thing we're doing is the person who assesses the Meals on Wheels, Eleanor Moore, she now has her office in the senior center with Deborah, the site manager. So everyone's together so they can get assessed real easily and communicate. It's easier for me to really boast about their program. I mean, they do, but I can tell you, I know sometimes these Meals on Wheels drivers, they're the only person a senior will see. So you get the socialization at the site if you can get there, and that's wonderful. But the people that are in their homes, their drivers are so friendly, and it's their touch with the outside world. So they're getting both food for the body and food for the soul too. So it's a very rewarding experience.
It's just about news time. We need to move to the ABC News, but we have been talking with Terry Shaw and Kathy Visser here from South Sound Senior Services. Senior Services for the South Sounds website is southsoundseniors.org, and the Mason County Senior Activities Center is mcsac.net. We'll have those links on the website. And Terry's going to be back in on Monday to talk about safety programs that they have up there at the Senior Center. Right. Thanks so much for coming in, and an important topic. And wish that we had a little more time to talk about it, but we'll look at it again later.
And just remember, bingo karaoke on Friday night. The center, and if you're all enthused about the meals, the center is closed this week for renovations. So, but we'll be open on Monday, so you can come in and get the great meals then. But Friday night, we are open for bingo karaoke. The doors open at Crazy Hat Night. The doors open at 6. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you so much. It is 8:01 here at iFIBER ONE News Radio on KMAS Shelton.
The suspected mastermind of the Paris terror attacks claims he knew nothing about the Brussels attacks and will no longer fight extradition to France. He wants out of Brussels. Denver International Airport is back open again after being slammed shut last night by a blizzard. ABC's Clayton Sandell has the details.
The nation's 5th busiest airport is officially open, but officials at Denver International say with so many canceled flights yesterday, it will take a while to get planes flying smoothly again. Hundreds of spring break passengers forced to sleep at the airport overnight are not out of the woods yet. Clayton Sandell, ABC News, Denver.
The Rockefeller family, which built its fortune with oil money, is getting out of the business entirely, calling its role in climate change morally reprehensible. Technology is a double-edged sword. A demolition crew in Texas used Google Maps to find a tornado-damaged home to tear down and got the wrong house. This is ABC News.
QL1, this is Control. Ground crew is secure. Over. Copy that, Control. Rockets powering up. Over. QL1, this is Control. Does Rocket Mortgage require me to fill out a bunch of paperwork?
Negative, Control. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans is the first on-demand mortgage machine that quickly and seamlessly imports your financial data. You can go through the entire mortgage approval process in minutes.
Copy that, QL1. That is fast, like rocket fast. Do you think that's why they named it Rocket Mortgage? Over.
Affirmative, Control. That's probably why they named it Rocket Mortgage. It also works on any internet-ready device, so you can get a Rocket Mortgage at any time or place you choose.
Roger that, QL1. So technically speaking, you could get a Rocket Mortgage at rocket speed from inside an actual rocket?
Please just press the button, Control. Over.
Copy that, QL1.
3, 2, 1. Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button. Get mortgage.
Rocket. Visit for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
A JetBlue flight attendant is facing federal charges for alleged drug smuggling. ABC's David Curley has details on the barefoot bust.
You may have been selected for a random check at a TSA checkpoint. That's what uncovered this cocaine caper, the alleged caper. An off-duty flight attendant from JetBlue shows up in street clothes at LAX on Friday, flashes her badge, goes to the known crew line, but is asked for a secondary check. She gets on her phone. She speaks in a foreign language. She walks slowly. She becomes visibly nervous, say the court documents. But when the TSA agents ask for her badge and are ready to examine her bags, she kicks off her heels and starts running out of the airport down the up escalator. David Curley, ABC News, Reagan Washington Airport.
It's getting a bit busier at the Labor Department. 6,000 more people applied for first-time jobless benefits last week, but analysts say the longer-term numbers are still at healthy low levels, below the 300,000 mark and 8.3% lower than last year. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
From the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. Shelton leaders have hired a law firm to defend the city in a lawsuit filed by environmental activists who say it's taken too long to clean up the C Street landfill. The city commissioners approved the hiring of Foster Pepper PLCC to perform an estimated 50 to 80 hours of time in the lawsuit, Waste Action Project versus City of Shelton. Waste Action Project is part of the Northwest Toxic Communities Coalition. It filed the lawsuit in December against the city, stating it's taken too long to clean up the dump, also known as the Shelton landfill. A letter from Foster Pepper informed the city that the firm's discounted hourly rates range from $285 to $475 an hour, depending on the attorney used. U.S. Congressman Derek Kilmer called into Daybreak yesterday morning to talk about a number of things, including a visit tonight to Shelton for discussion about the Olympic Peninsula Forest Collaborative. That's an effort to create jobs and grow the economy in the region by bringing the timber industry and the conservation community together to figure out ways to manage our forests better.
We're going to have a public meeting of the collaborative and invite people's questions and input, and just provide an update on what the collaborative has been up to. That's an example of some of the stuff we're working on to try to grow jobs in our area. The effort around increasing the use of some of the innovative wood products like cross-laminated timber, provides the potential for sort of timber 2.0 in our region. So that's something I've been working on. And then even outside the timber industry, a lot of my focus has been on just trying to grow small businesses and support economic development in our region, because I do not want our region's top export to be our young people, and that's going to continue to be a priority for me.
That public meeting is this evening at 7 p.m. at Mason PUD 3 on Johns Prairie Road. And you can hear the full interview with the congressman on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1Newsradio.com. City officials are looking at ways to move and preserve the 67-year-old historic Simpson Lumber Dispatch building that's on industrial land being redeveloped for a new Sierra Pacific Industries sawmill. SPI has given the city 30 days to come up with a plan for saving the structure, or it will be torn down when the company builds a new mill on the site. Lisa Perry, Sierra Pacific Industries Community Relations Representative, told iFIBER One News that Sierra Pacific would be flexible, possibly up to 60 days, as long as the city made progress on moving the building. The building needs to be moved because the main electrical conduit to the future mill site runs under the railroad building. Sierra Pacific's new sawmill could be under construction in late spring or early summer and completed in early 2017. For iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Marilyn Foster.
Has this ever happened to you? Your significant other says, we've got to redo the kitchen, and you break out into a cold sweat?
Well, don't worry. It's a common condition, something we call needless remodeling anxiety, and we've got the cure. Heck, we are the cure. Hi, I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti. Whether you do it yourself or direct it yourself, we can help you keep your project on track and on budget.
So join us this weekend for the Money Pit Home Improvement Radio Show.
Saturdays at 10, Sundays at 7 on iFIBER One News Radio.
I'm attorney Harold Carr. During the past 25 years, more than 8,000 people have trusted me to handle their personal injury cases. I understand how an injury can disrupt your life and cause financial hardship for you and your family. At the law firm of Harold Carr, we have 5 attorneys and 19 staff members experienced with negotiating and litigating with insurance companies. So if you feel the insurance company is not dealing with you fairly, call me, Harold Carr. Let us deal with the insurance company so you won't have to.
Car accident? Call Carr or visit us online at haroldcarrattorney.com.
Now, from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Jeff Slakey.
Thank you. Good morning. 8:08 AM 1030 and FM 103.3. Wild game yesterday. Mariners end up losing to Oakland A's 13-12. The teams, though, combined for 16 runs in the first 2.5 innings. That is a lot of runs in a little amount of baseball. Chris Iannetta had 3 hits and himself drove in 4 runs for the Mariners. Next game tonight at 7 against the Colorado Rockies. Former Mariner A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez. Remember, so they had A-Rod, then they said, what did they also, Pay-Rod? And every time he came to the home plate, when he came back to Seattle, they would throw Monopoly money at him. Do you remember that? I remember the booing. Oh, wait, hold on. I had turned you down. You remember the what?
I remember the booing.
Oh, yeah, lots of booing. I think we'll talk with sports director Sean Wells in about 6 minutes or so, but we'll see. I think that's all kind of subsided.
Yeah, the last time.
There's probably a couple people, old guys that still, for whatever reason, boo, Pay-Rod. Anyways, he was good when he was part of the team for a while. Washington freshman Marquise Chris and DeJounte Murray declared for the NBA draft. The Huskies lost their NIT tournament hopes earlier in the week and ending their college careers after one season. NCAA men's tournament continues today. Number 1 Oregon takes on Duke in the Sweet 16. Tomorrow night on iFIBER ONE News Radio, we have Gonzaga basketball taking on the Syracuse Orange at 6:40. Pregame is at 6:20 on AM 1030 and FM 1033. 8:10 now, and moving to the South Sound forecast. Here's Carol.
There's some heavy showers moving through the morning. They'll become scattered this afternoon, and we'll hit some highs in about the upper 40s, low 50s. The rain will continue overnight and into the morning, clearing somewhat in the afternoon. Saturday is looking to be the driest for Easter weekend, with more rain coming in for Sunday. And the good news is long-range forecast is calling for warm and sunny weather by the middle of next week. Right now, it's about 41 in Shelton.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
8:11 at iFIBER ONE News Radio. Good morning to you. I'm Jeff Slakey with Carol Gardner, continuing on a great show here for you on Daybreak. Audio and video on iFiberOneNewsRadio.com. Also follow us on the Twitter at iFiberOneRadio and Facebook.com/1030KMAS. Sports Director Sean Wells, just a couple minutes from now. NCAA tournament picks. We'll talk about those for the day, Oregon and Duke, and then Gonzaga and Syracuse. Also see what's going on with the Mariners and the Sounders as we continue on throughout. Talk a little spring sports as well. Finally, at 8:45, during the Focus on Shelton, Management Assistant Vicki Look will be on to talk about the ongoing recruitment for the city administrator for the city of Shelton, as Dave O'Leary is getting ready to step aside. And we were able to see the what is this that we're looking at? It's the packet that was sent out to people, potentially.
Or if you wanted to probably apply for the job, then you would get this packet. It tells about the city, the community, the position itself, exactly what happens, your opportunities.
I think it's important to have someone within the city of Shelton to be able to do this, or should someone with a fresh look? We've had a lot of fresh looks come in.
Oh, you mean
Chief
the person
Moody,
that will get the position?
Yeah, the city administrator. Like Chief Moody is from California, Dr. Apostle's from Montana.
I think
fresh looks, fresh takes.
Yeah, it just really depends on the person themselves, whether they have the ability to look outside that box that we.
Are you pitching yourself right now?
No, I am not.
Oh, okay.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
I feel right at home on JohnLScott.com.
Hi, this is Dawn Pinnell from John L. Scott Real Estate here in Shelton. For a while now, I have been saying welcome home and sharing with you some great listings and some hopefully educational and interesting items of riveting radio real estate topics.
Dawn Pinnell's Radio Real Estate every other Friday at 8:45 on iFIBER ONE News Radio, AM 1030 and FM 1033.
I would love to help you say, I'm home.
Habitat for Humanity of Mason County invites you to shop their local retail stores in Belfair and in Shelton. At Habitat for Humanity stores, you'll find amazing bargains on discounted home improvement supplies, gently used furniture, and so much more. And when you shop Habitat for Humanity, your dollars are put to work helping to improve, build, and maintain affordable housing right here in Mason County. Habitat for Humanity. Let's build a strong community together.
The one constant in this world is change, continuing and inevitable. Things here in Mason County are about to change for the better. iFIBER Communications is now a proud service provider for Mason County PUD3. iFIBER Communications is now offering high-speed internet in Mason County. Next generation ISP services to your home and business. Next generation internet, 100 megabit per second speed to your home. Next generation television, high definition television unlike anything you've ever seen before. Next generation telephone, never get a long distance bill again. iFIBER Communications is so much more than just an ISP. We're part of the story that is yet to be
be told here in Mason County. Change is here. iFIBER Communications. To find out more, stop by our offices, 3rd and Coda, or call 427-4000 or find us at iFIBER.tv.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
8:15 on a Thursday morning, and a good morning to you. Sports Director Sean Wells is in studio right now. Morning, sir.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Not too bad. Nice and a little bit of sunny, kind of sunny out there this morning. That's a nice little change. Hopefully that stays this afternoon, and we can get some local baseball in. It's been a tough week. A lot of rainouts for both baseball and softball. So hopefully this sun stays out.
Well, it's spring on this side of the mountain. I was going to say the Northwest, but you had been doing sports reporting for iFIBER One in Ephrata and Moses Lake and things, and this doesn't happen over there?
If I'm correct, I don't believe we had one single rainout in the year and a half I was covering local sports over there. So yeah, it's quite the change. But hopefully, I know next week is supposed to be nice, and hopefully, we get the game in today, and the game. Yesterday's game for Shelton Baseball has been rescheduled for Saturday at 1 o'clock. That's versus Wilson. So Saturday looks good, too, the forecast. So hopefully we'll start getting some games in.
Got a little bit of if the weather holds for today, Carol.
Scattered showers. So it just depends if that scattered shower is a long shower.
We're looking at a cross-county rivalry with the North Mason Bulldogs, Shelton today. Potentially at 4:15 up at North Mason High School. That's just one of the games going on. Some soccer as well. So spring sports, can't really make a real big assumption of how things are looking because of these rainouts, but moving forward, we're thinking good things here for Shelton sports.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of rainouts so far, but conference play kind of just getting underway. The soccer team, Shelton Soccer, had a good win on Tuesday night. They took down Mount Tahoma. Won that game 3-0. All three of their goals came in the first half, 2 from Jose Flores and 1 from Juana Paez. So a nice win for them. They're on the road tonight at Lincoln. And then they have a couple home games next week on Tuesday night and Thursday night. So a good chance to get out and watch some good quality soccer. Baseball, as we mentioned, they're on the road up at North Mason today. And then they'll have that rescheduled game this Saturday versus Wilson. And then hopefully starting next week, start to get a trickle some of those couple rainouts maybe from the previous weeks in there. I don't know if they've figured out that schedule yet, but they'll have a few games to make up. But yeah, conference play really just getting underway, and local teams looking good so far.
We've got the NCAA men's tournament. We heard some news about the Huskies during the overnight. They lost their NIT tournament hopes earlier in the week, and now 2 of their freshmen their freshmen have decided to go into the draft already.
That's true. DeJounte Murray and Marquise Chris, 2 freshmen that really just had great seasons. I mean, phenomenal freshman seasons. They weren't necessarily looked at as one-and-done players when they were recruited, but they, I guess, showed scouts and NBA people that, hey, we can play now and we want to play now. And so they came out and said there's no doubt about it. Only a couple days, like you said, after their season ended, and said, hey, our goal, our dreams have been to go pro. So good luck to them. Both of them still have some areas of their game they could work on, especially defensively. But, boy, they were both super athletic, and their upside is just phenomenal. I mean, they have chances to be stars in the league in due time.
I can't imagine that Huskies coach Lorenzo Romar is the one pushing for these kids to go. Who tells them that, hey, you could be ready for this?
I think a lot of it is friends and family in their corner. They tell them all the good things they want to hear.
Sure.
And I'm sure Romar is honest with them. He'll tell them. I mean, he hears from NBA scouts and coaches about where they think their players will be drafted. And so he'll give them honest advice, but honestly, Romar now, this will be the 5th year in a row they have made the NCAA tournament. He's on the hot seat a little bit, and to lose your top 3 players, actually they'll lose all their 3 top scorers from this last season as Andrews was a senior. It's going to be tough next year. So a lot of people are saying if he doesn't make the tournament next year, Huskies will be looking for a new coach. And Romar's a Husky. He played played college at UW. He's been with the program now for, close to 15 years. So it'll be tough to see him go out that way, but it's a win-driven league, and Huskies want to get back in the tournament.
I heard something interesting yesterday on one of the ESPN shows about, what's his name? Sean Payton for the Saints moving to football, touching on football for a second. And he has been there for 10 years, and he's been there the whole time with Drew Brees, and Drew Brees has signed a 5-year re-extension. And so they were talking, though, about him being a coach for 10 years and how maybe his voice, because the Saints have, they're still a good team, but they didn't get very far, last year. So after 10 years, do coaches lose their voice? And if Romar has been a Husky his whole life, is it kind of just, oh, yep, there's coach again?
That's a tricky question. I think it obviously depends on the situation. With Sean Payton, he's had that relationship with Drew Brees pretty much his whole time in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. So you can kind of see why he wanted to stick around in that combo they have on a high note, or try to at least. With Romar, you're only as good as the players you recruit and the players you develop. And like any coaches in the NCAA, he's had some good luck and some bad. I'm sure he's had the same message throughout his recruiting process at UW, but I know a few years back they took some chances at some big name guys, some 5-star recruits that didn't work out, and that hurt in their recruiting. And it showed the last couple of years when they didn't make the tournament. So they got a big 5-star recruit coming in this season from Maryland, Marco Fultz, a point guard that's supposed to be just a stud. People are projecting him to be a first-round pick the following year. So we'll see how this process works, but they have to really focus on developing the guys they have that returned, and try to take that corner and develop these players and make that push to get back into the tournament.
It's 8:22. We're talking with Sports Director Sean Wells. Moving on to the NCAA men's basketball tournament tonight. Gets back underway. Oregon and Duke are the final game of the day. Tomorrow we've got Gonzaga Bulldogs on the radio. Carol and I filled out our bracket, and if I did my math right here, Carol, it looks like we have 8 teams left in the Sweet 16. So we're at about 50%. In our fun pool that we're in, we're sitting comfortably in 4th place.
True, but there's a prediction that Indiana's going to go all the way. And that's who we have, and Kansas. And I thought that we have them going, and we have Kansas
into the Final Four, losing to Baylor, who unfortunately got knocked out against that Yale Bulldog team. How are you doing with your bracket, and what are we looking for Oregon tonight and Gonzaga tomorrow?
I'm doing okay. I got to say, I like that Indiana pick. That's kind of a sleeper now, and they look great against Kentucky.
Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one, though, getting past Carolina. But I like Yogi Ferrell. I like their coach. And I think Indiana has a good chance to sneak off an upset there. My bracket, I have my Final Four still alive. I have Oklahoma, Kansas, North Carolina, and Virginia. I have Oklahoma playing Virginia in the final, with Oklahoma taking it. So a big game for Oklahoma versus A&M tonight. A&M coming off that miracle comeback versus Northern Iowa. I don't know how they pulled that one off.
That was that double overtime one?
Double overtime, but they were down by 12 with 40 seconds left, and they came back and won. It was the biggest comeback under a minute in college basketball history. So just one heck of a comeback. You feel sorry for those Northern Iowa guys for sure. But Oregon against Duke, that's going to be a fun one tonight. I think Oregon has more talent on their roster. Duke, they seem to turn it on in the tournament, and look what they did last year, and they're playing well as of late. But I think Oregon's going to sneak past them. And then, of course, tomorrow, the big game, Gonzaga taking on Syracuse. It's going to be tough going against that Cuse 2-3 zone that they're known for. But Sabonis and Wiltshire have been playing phenomenal. And their guard play, Gonzaga's guard play has really stepped up with McClellan and Drangenis, and they're hitting threes, and they're playing with high confidence. So I could see Gonzaga sneaking on and moving to the Elite Eight.
That would be something. If they do win tomorrow night, we will have them in the Elite Eight next weekend. And all told, then the Final Four and the championship weekend is the weekend just before the baseball season starts on April 4th. Also, that is the National Championship Day. Also want to make sure that we are letting everyone know, starting on Monday, April 4th, Sports Director Sean Wells will be providing the morning sports reports for us, being able to focus deeply on what the Mariners are doing during the regular season and keep eyes on what Shelton is doing and other local schools. And in addition to that, let us know about any of the features that you're working on.
Looking forward to it.
So we have got Sports Director Sean Wells, and he'll be out monitoring the hopeful games throughout the day today. Again, North Mason High School is the home for the varsity baseball game. For fast pitch varsity, it's at the Old Pioneer Middle School against Stillicum. Varsity boys soccer against Lincoln at Lincoln, and Alderbrook will be the golf home for South Kitsap, boys and girls golf. That's coming up all today. Girls tennis against Capital at Shelton. Also on the website this morning, you can watch Sean's video feature on the Shelton soccer team, and you're going to be doing a lot of these videos throughout the spring, focusing on the sports, right?
Yeah, well, we'll pick and choose our games and get out there and do quite a few of these, and hopefully the weather starts helping us out a little bit. And then again, it looks like next week will be a nice and sunny week, so a great week to get out there and support your local teams, and yeah, have fun cheering on your high climbers.
And you can follow Sean on Sean Wells Sports. That's 2 S's.
Oh, there is 2
Twitter.
S's there. Sean Wells Sports.
Yep.
Your new Twitter handle.
That's correct.
So if I was following you before, it merged, right? It moved over. I don't have to look for you again.
Yep, You're good.
It's all there.
Oh, yeah. There's my little picture. Very cool. All right. Thank you, Sean. Always good to talk with you.
You bet.
8:27 at iFIBER ONE News Radio. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we're getting ready for Mary Lynn Foster and the latest in local news, also the morning stock numbers, ABC Sports, and Vicki Look from the city, and talking about the search for a city administrator. It's all coming up on Daybreak.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
You know, there's nothing like the look and feel of a real newspaper. Award-winning writers in design, voted one of the best newspapers in Washington, the Mason County Journal has the news, opinion, and information you want. Full of colorful photos and great-looking ads, share it with family and friends. No electricity required. Look for us at over 80 locations throughout the county or visit masoncounty.com. The Mason County Journal, a big part of this wonderful place we call home.
It's time again for Fiddle Fest. State and national champs with a variety of old-time, Celtic, and bluegrass fiddling. 2 big shows Saturday, April 2nd at 1 and again at 6 at the Performing Arts Center at Shelton High School. Tickets are $10 at the door, $5 for students. Proceeds go to the Shelton Music Program and Youth Music Scholarships. For more information, go to sheltonfiddlefest.org. Brought to you by the Washington Old-Time Fiddlers Association.
iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
.28 at iFIBER ONE News Radio, World Tuberculosis Day, and we had a great conversation with Dr. Diana Yu early this morning about tuberculosis, and it's ongoing, continues. People still get it. 3 people die every minute. Is that what she said? 3 people a minute die of tuberculosis. So you'll be able to find, that was just part of our conversation. We had a longer conversation off air with Dr. Yu, and we have gonna have that available on the website, iFiberOneNewsRadio.com. Checking out others news notes for the rest of the morning here with Mary Lynn Foster in just a couple of minutes, talking about the Shelton leaders hiring a law firm to defend the city in a lawsuit. Derek Kilmer, U.S. Representative from Washington's 6th District, will be in Shelton tonight at Mason County PUD 3, and a historic building right in downtown, just kind of near the Goldsboro Creek Bridge, right downtown. A historic building there that's on Sierra Pacific property now. needs to be moved in the next 30, 60 days or so, and it otherwise could be raised. That all coming up in a couple of moments here on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.com. We'll get the morning stock numbers in a couple of moments here on Daybreak, AM 1030 and FM 103.3.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
The taste of victory is sweet.
The Gonzaga Bulldogs are headed to the Sweet 16.
But there's still work to be done.
Wilcher step back three from the left side. Oh, that's Mullen. Two-handed throw down. All the way to the Remus. Reverses. Good at the buzzer.
Tune in Friday as Gonzaga battles Syracuse in the Sweet 16.
Spinning, and scoring.
They are making it look easy. Tip-off is set for 6:40 on the Toyota Gonzaga IMG Sports Network.
Gonzaga Hughes.
Are you a do-it-yourselfer or a direct-it-yourselfer?
Every weekend, people tell us about overspending on projects they could have handled themselves for lots less money.
And we hear from people who ended up overspending because they tried to do something they should have called in a pro to tackle.
Well, we'll help you sort it out. I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti. Got a remodeling or a repair project?
We can help you decide whether to do it yourself or direct it yourself this weekend on the Money Fit Home Improvement Radio Show.
Saturdays at 10, Sundays at 7 on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
From the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. Shelton leaders have hired a law firm to defend the city in a lawsuit filed by environmental activists who say it's taken too long to clean up the C Street landfill. The city commissioners approved the hiring of Foster Pepper PLCC to perform an estimated 50 to 80 hours of time in the lawsuit, Waste Action Project versus City of Shelton. Waste Action Project is part of the Northwest Toxic Communities Coalition. It filed the lawsuit in December against the city, stating it's taken too long to clean up the dump, also known as the Shelton landfill. A letter from Foster Pepper informed the city that the firm's discounted hourly rates range from $285 to $475 an hour, depending on the attorney used. U.S. Congressman Derek Kilmer called into Daybreak yesterday morning to talk about a number of things, including a visit tonight to Shelton for discussion about the Olympic Peninsula Forest Collaborative. That's an effort to create jobs and grow the economy in the region by bringing the timber industry and the conservation community together to figure out ways to manage our forests better.
We're going to have a public meeting of the collaborative and invite people's questions and input and just provide an update on what the collaborative has been up to. You know, that's an example of some of the stuff we're working on to try to grow jobs in our area. You know, the effort around increasing the use of some of the innovative wood products like cross-laminated timber, you know, provides the potential for sort of timber 2.0 in our region. So that's something I've been working on. And then even outside the timber industry, a lot of my focus has been on just trying to grow small businesses and support economic development in our region, because I do not want our region's top export to be our young people, and that's going to continue to be a priority for me.
That public meeting is this evening at 7 p.m. at Mason PUD 3 on Johns Prairie Road. And you can hear the full interview with the congressman on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1Newsradio.com. City officials are looking at ways to move and preserve the 67-year-old historic Simpson Lumber Dispatch Building that's on industrial land being redeveloped for a new Sierra Pacific Industries sawmill. SPI has given the city 30 days to come up with a plan for saving the structure, or it will be torn down when the company builds a new mill on the site. Lisa Perry, Sierra Pacific Industries Community Relations Representative, told iFIBER ONE News that Sierra Pacific would be flexible, possibly up to 60 days, as long as the city made progress on moving the building. The building needs to be moved because the main electrical conduit to the future mill site runs under the railroad building. Sierra Pacific's new sawmill could be under construction in late spring or early summer and completed in early 2017. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Marilyn Foster.
Wonder what the outrageously energizing experience of Mountain Dew Kickstart is like? Well, it's like a combo of 3 awesome things: dew, juice, and caffeine, rebooting your entire personal operating system.
Mountain Dew Kickstart.
Kickstart is in position for consumption. Release the Mountain Dew Kickstart. Mountain Dew Kickstart released. Experiencing a charge of Mountain Dew Kickstart now.
Mountain Dew Kickstart operation successful.
Roger that.
Get charged up with Mountain Dew Kickstart. Now in 4 energizing new flavors like Midnight Grape. It all starts with a kick.
Warriors and Spurs rack up victories at home, and a legendary sportscaster has died. Hi, everybody. I'm Todd Ant reporting on sports. 33 points for Steph Curry in the Warriors' 114-98 victory over the Clippers, but it was Klay Thompson who ruled the night from three-point range.
Catches and fires right wing over Ute, a three for Klay. Out to Klay for three. Good. Outside to Klay. Fires another three. Got another three.
On KNBR, Thompson knocked down 7 threes, scoring 32, and Golden State improves to 64-7. They're 33-0 this season at Oracle. And the Spurs continue to win at home, as well as making it 36 straight this season.
Marcus to Kawhi. He's down. Oh, mother! Kawhi Leonard!
On Fox Sports Southwest, Kawhi Leonard, 32 points in the Spurs' 112-88 victory over Miami. LeBron James pushing the Cavaliers past the Bucks last night.
Now it's Smith who drives right baseline. Hands off to LeBron. A reverse dunk by LeBron James.
On WTAM, James scored 26, Cavs 113-104 over Milwaukee. In Houston, Derek Favors sent the crowd home disappointed.
With 5. Gives to Favors. Dunks with 1. Derek Favors dunks it with 1.6 seconds to play.
On KZNS, the Jazz nipped the Rockets 89-87. And in Denver,
Moutier crossed the half-court line. Lost the basketball. Picked it back up. Shoots it. Got it at the horn. The rookie buries the Sixers.
On KKFN, Nuggets win 104-103. Not too many people saw it because of blizzard conditions in Denver. NIT semifinals set for next Tuesday at Madison Square Garden in New York. George Washington will take on San Diego State. Valparaiso faces BYU. Former baseball player and broadcaster Joe Garagiola has died. He was 90. Garagiola played in the majors for 9 years and won a World Series title, but then spent the next 57 years behind the mic. Garagiola was a Ford Frank Award recipient in 1991 for excellence in broadcasting. And Alex Rodriguez told ESPN he'll play 2 more years before calling it quits in 2017. Todd Ant, ABC Sports.
Now, from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Jeff Slakey.
8:37 at iFIBER ONE Newsradio. Good morning to you. AM 1030 and FM 103.3. Wild game yesterday for the Mariners. End up losing 13-12 to the Oakland A's. Teams combined for 16 runs in the first 2.5 innings. Chris Iannetta had 3 hits, drove in 4 runs for the Mariners, and the next game is tonight against the Colorado Rockies. Our pregame at 7, and first pitch at 7:10. Seattle goalkeeper Tyler Miller has replaced injured Zach Steffen on the U.S.'s U-23 roster for the Olympic qualifying playoff against Colombia. The Americans play at Barranquilla tomorrow in the first leg of the Total Goals series. NCAA men's tournament continues tomorrow night. Gonzaga basketball taking on the Syracuse Orange, 6:40. Pregame is 6:20 right here on AM 1030 and FM 103.3. 8:38 right now. Checking the South Sounds forecast. Here's Carol Dark.
We have showers still moving through the area this morning, decreasing towards the afternoon, and we'll have highs in the upper 40s, low 50s. Scattered showers will continue overnight and clearing into a partly cloudy Friday. Saturday also partly cloudy, looking to be the driest for the weekend coming up, with more rain coming in on Sunday. Good news is long-range forecast is calling for warm and sunny weather by the middle of next week, and right now it's 45 in Shelton.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor, your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
8:39 and good morning. I'm Jeff Slakey with Carol Gardner. Hello.
Hello, Jeff. You know, we might make some of those.
Life and your money. It's the Daybreak.
I don't know what that was.
All right.
Go ahead.
I say we might have some of our picks just quickly, hastily done might make it. It's hard to say.
You know, there's these professional prognosticators like Puxatani Phil, you know, the prognosticator of prognosticators, the seer of seers.
Mm-hmm.
This is their job. They're bracketologists.
Right.
It's their job. And they get worse, and they do worse than we do.
Yeah, so.
It is a real, whatever. This team, you could even go by amount of letters, in their names, and you may have a better shot at doing some of these things. What do you have in your hand there?
I have in my hand the 2016 schedule for the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, we just got them in the mail yesterday. The pocket schedules are in.
So come on in and pick up a copy or two, and you can get your pocket schedule, and we follow along and listen to the Mariners play all summer.
We've got them right here on iFIBER One News Radio. In addition,
fresh off the press,
it has the list of all the cool special events that they do. Probably do one of those beard and hat nights again, and
they always have a firework night, a family night.
Firework night.
Sometimes they give away the blankets, or they also they'll probably have some bobbleheads this year.
Whoa.
Cool.
What is 8? August 19th. Star Wars themed firework night post game. Then on the 20th, they're going to show Return of the Jedi on that big screen. And then on the 21st, it's the Taiwan Skywalker bobblehead.
Oh, cool.
Taiwan Walker gets a Skywalker treatment for their bobblehead day. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, fun stuff.
8:41 now at iFIBER One News Radio. Coming up in just a few moments, Management Assistant Vicki Look will be here with us to talk about the ongoing recruitment for the city administrator position for the city of Shelton. Also throughout the rest of the morning, with time permitting, we've got other local news stories to share. The production of illegal marijuana has dropped significantly in the last year, and Man in Tree finally down. So if we have time, we'll get to those stories before 9 o'clock. Tom Hartman and Dave Ramsey through the day, Chad Benson, Alex Jones. Great programming here on iFIBER One News Radio. Daybreak continues right after this.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
Savor the savings. We're serving up a great deal at our community credit union. 1% cash back and no payments for 90 days. Do you have an auto, boat, RV, personal, or any other type of consumer loan? Get a taste of this. For a limited time, we'll treat you to 1% cash back instantly when you move your loan to our community credit union. Don't wait. Apply online at ourcu.com or visit a branch location in Shelton, Union, McCleary, Elma, Montesano, or Vashon.
This is Kathy. The best way to keep current on local news and issues is by subscribing to the Mason County Journal. The importance of subscribing to the paper hit home when the marijuana businesses started cropping up in local neighborhoods, and people called the paper saying they hadn't heard about the zoning changes. I had to inform the callers that this issue had been discussed in the paper for many months, and the best way to know what was happening in their community was to read the local newspaper. As a result, many of them started up a subscription. Call 426-4412 or visit masoncounty.com to start your subscription today.
Washington Health Plan Finder offers many health plan options to meet a diversity of needs. And as your needs change with marriage, family, or other life-changing events, you can change your health plan too. In an effort to make sure everyone is well covered, Mason General Hospital provides a service to help register people with the plan that suits their needs. Simply go online to masongeneral.com and click on Washington Health Plan Finder to browse the various plans available. Then call Mason General's project supervisor, Susanna Lopez, at 432-7766.
Mason General Hospital and Family of Clinics. Equal opportunity provider, translation services provided.
Mason General and Family of Clinics.
There's no place like home.
Getting home safely is just a click away. Find the right seat for your little one's age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat for more information. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
.844 at iFIBER One News Radio. It's Daybreak. I'm Jeff Sakey along with Carol Gardner. Morning, Carol.
Morning, Jeff.
We have Management Assistant Vicki Look in studio for our focus on Shelton to talk about the ongoing recruitment for a city administrator. Morning, Vicki.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming in. We're talking about the look for a city administrator, and we've been kind of going over the packet that potential candidates were reading over to decide whether or not they'd like to throw their hat into the ring. Before we get into that portion of it, let's go back. November, is that kind of when we were thinking? We heard current city administrator Dave O'Leary say that he's going to announce his retirement this year. That's about right,
yes,
November?
I believe in November he announced that. It was before the election, and tried to give plenty of time for us to get prepared to decide whether to do a recruitment for a new administrator, let the commission consider that, because it is their decision.
Right.
And so we kind of wrestled with that a little bit for a month or so, and now we're here with an advertisement.
And it has been the previous commission did start this process. Is that right?
Commissioner Olson, during the months of November and December, had encouraged the other commissioners to move forward with the recruitment process at that time. But it was a very busy season, and so we kind of put it on the back burner until we had our Commissioner McDowell seated, and then they had a discussion and decided that they did want to move forward, and in January made a decision to do for me to go out and seek recruitment for firms to provide proposals for the recruitment.
And that's where we get to today when we look at this. Prothman is the company out of Issaquah.
It is.
That put together this piece, and it's got a pretty detailed packet of information, including what you can look if you are looking in the community, the city, why you should apply, and the position. Is this generally for folks outside the area, or it's open? I mean, anybody can apply for this position, right?
Oh, certainly anybody could apply, even current city employees. We just wanted to make sure that we opened it up and had a broad recruitment so that we could have a real good candidate pool, and they could come in and first apply with Prothman, and he will go through a screening process, and then narrow it down. And usually when he does that, he narrows it down to 15 or 20 applicants, and does a little bit of background on them, and then recommends that, and the commission will then start to screen those folks down to a manageable group for actual interviews.
The county, they had for the other position that they had about 60 people applied. So hopefully you guys will get that many.
I hope so.
Or Prothman will get that many, and then they'll narrow it down, and then they'll bring those in for the commission to start interviewing, or
narrow it down, and then we'll go through the applications. And this is what I'm assuming. I'm working with a representative of Prothman to start this whole process, and we did that. We came up with the flyer, and it's posted now, and I believe it's open until something like first screening will be April 24th.
Okay.
And during that period of time, then Bill McDonald is the person that is our representative. He and I and the commission will walk through how we see this recruitment going and what sort of processes will be involved. And, as we did previously with Prothman, we've had interview panels, 2 or 3 different panels made up of several different members from the community, staff, the commissioners, and, go through that process. By that point, we've usually narrowed it down to something like 8 or 9 individuals that go through that process.
And if an individual is going to apply for this job, what type of time frame are they looking at that they would actually be sitting in office?
Before they would be sitting in office?
Yeah.
Well, I think that the recruitment, the date for this first screening, as I mentioned, I think is April 24th. And then I do believe that the processes will occur, and then we're hoping for the first week or 2 in June to actually have the interviews.
Okay.
Then after that, we will narrow it down, and then there may be a negotiation process between the top candidate to see if they truly like our area and are interested in coming here after they've met all of us. And we, hope so. We hope that. And Prothman will be involved in that negotiation process. So, usually folks like that want to give a little bit of a time for moving on and notice that they're, submit their resignation. And, hopefully we would have somebody in the seat by
End
late
of the
July,
summer or late July?
August,
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You mentioned some past panels for interviewing these things with community folks. Is there a point when it becomes an open process that the community can sit in on the interviews or the discussions about the people, or is this a commission, mostly just a commission decision?
Well, it is a commission decision, but we've had that process opened up before. I mean, certainly we could have the commission sit in just one interview and interview those folks. But I think, after talking to some of the folks, that maybe they will sit on the different panels. Maybe we'll have 3 and one of them will sit on each. We did that with our chief's interview and it worked really well. But there will also be a public reception, I'm sure. Like there was. We had it at the Colonial House. Maybe this time we'll have it at the Civic Center, a little bigger area to have people come in and mingle around and so.
Dave's been with the city for a long time. He's worked really hard for the city. Big shoes to fill for the city administrator position. What is the city administrator? What does this person administrate?
Well, all the departments. He's the personnel officer for the city of Shelton, and so he's in charge of personnel and all those actions and supervising the department heads, and communicating with the commissioners, researching things that they want to do, and working with the legal team, which we have a contractor for that. So making sure he's kind of the glue that keeps it all together and keeps us in place, in line.
A real important position to be sure. You can go on the City of Shelton's website to see this Prothman search packet that is out and available. And if you're interested, there is opportunities for you to apply, and you can see what kind of experience and education is looked for in the ideal candidate. And this process is ongoing. And so the next deadline is that we're thinking April 24th, first review. That's when folks should get their stuff in?
Yes, April 24th is the first screening date. And so, yes, and they hope to have the interviews the week of June 6th or so.
You can look also for this on the Prothman website, prothman.com, again, out of Issaquah. Vicki Look in the studio with us right now this morning for our Focus on Shelton Management Assistant. Good to talk with you this morning on this. It's kind of an exciting time, Sad to see Dave go, but exciting to get this process going here.
Absolutely. Thank you for helping me get the word out.
Very good. It is 8:52 now currently at iFIBER ONE Newsradio and Daybreak. We'll take a quick break, hear from the Old Farmer's Almanac, and when we come back, we'll wrap things up here on a Thursday morning here at iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
Listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
Ever need to measure something without a ruler handy? We'll share some clever ways to get a darn close estimate on the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. With more practical tips and useful advice, this is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report for Thursday, March 24th, the 84th day of the year. Magician Harry Houdini and actor Steve McQueen were born on this day. Few of us make a habit of carrying around a ruler or tape measure, so what do you do when you need a quick measurement? Use what's at hand, of course. On the average person, the tip of the thumb to the first knuckle is about 1 inch. The width of your hand is 4 inches. A dollar bill is just a shade over 6 inches long. The width of a standard legal pad is 8.5 inches, and the height of most dining tables is 30 inches. If you're frequently at a loss for a measuring device, try this. Cut a 6-inch strip from an old tape measure and keep it in your wallet. That is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. Learn more and get the advice of the day online at almanac.com.
iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
8:54 now, iFIBER ONE News Radio. About 5 minutes left here in the show. Jeff and Carol. Good morning, Carol.
Good morning. Such a big process.
Finding people.
For that type of a career move, especially if they are not from here. And
sure. Well, it makes sense. If they have the thing at the end of April, to then give someone, the proper time to be a nice outgoing employee. In outgoing mean leaving employee, to give those notices to the former job, stuff like that. 8:55 at iFIBER One News Radio. Friday tomorrow.
TGIF.
It sure is. And Dr. Alex Apostle will be in for his weekly visit at 8:15. We'll also find out what's going on with the rivers and streams with Steve Kramer's fishing report from Kramer Tackle and Guide. Chuck Devine continuing on with those ski reports, as I guess spring skiing is a fun thing to do. You wear your shorts and you get up there on the mountain. Well, you wear short sleeve shirts too?
Spring skiing, it's more like...
Do you go all the way to the top?
Well, it's been a long time really since I've been spring skiing. But spring skiing, if you live like at a resort, which I used to do, it's more like there's less people there, and so it's more of a relaxed skiing atmosphere, I guess. Not that skiing isn't relaxed anyways, but it's just sort of it's a fun thing to go do, and I encourage you to get up there and go do it if you can. Yeah, if you can get up there. I mean, the one good thing about spring skiing is if the weather's nice, it's not so bad if you're like falling. I mean, you're not freezing like you usually do through most of the winter. Hopefully, it still could. I mean, right now they had huge snow up in the North Cascades. Right now they're having a huge snow warning up towards Canada. So it's still the mountain. What do you got going for us, Jeff?
I got a great story for you here. Another drug tunnel was found running between Mexico and the U.S. And this one is a little more unique than the others. Here's ABC's Alex Stone in Los Angeles. What's going on with my computer this morning? Must be near the end of the week.
The tunnel has lighting, electricity.
What'd you say? Did I pay the bill?
Yeah.
No. Here we go.
The tunnel has lighting, electricity, and a rail system, but that's not what makes it unique. What does, U.S. Attorney Laura Duffy says the drug traffickers bought a plot of land and built a 3-bedroom home in a neighborhood in Calexico, California to hide the tunnel. They've never seen a home built from scratch to hide a drug tunnel, and now 4 people have been charged.
We've charged these individuals with various drug trafficking.
The Mexican side of the tunnel comes out in a restaurant in Mexicali. The tunnel runs about 415 yards, discovered inside 3,000 pounds of marijuana. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
So how would a 30-foot wall help that?
I do not know. I thought I saw a movie about that same exact thing.
About a tunnel, and then there's a
house, and it came through a restaurant.
So it makes more sense for them to spend the money building a house to hide, and into a restaurant.
Yeah, it's a great idea, actually. Quite clever. I mean, they must have screwed up somehow. People noticed too many people coming out of the house, too much.
It's like a clown car.
Or
so many people are stuck in the car. They just keep coming.
It's like, where'd those people come from? If you have a snoopy neighbor, you just got to be careful on that. But it's a good question you bring up. How does a wall
fix a tunnel?
Fix a tunnel.
We'll just leave it at that.
All right.
8:58 at iFIBER One News Radio. Sweet 16, the NCAA men's basketball tournament tips off tonight. Al Mancini's checking in with Las Vegas odds makers on just how some of the final teams look in Vegas.
At Win Las Vegas, John Avello runs down his favorites to win it all.
North Carolina 7-2, Kansas 7-2. Virginia 5-1, Villanova 7-1, Oregon 10-1, Oklahoma 11-1.
At the other end of the spectrum,
the 4 long shots are Syracuse 60-1, Wisconsin 45-1, Notre Dame 45-1, and then Texas A&M at 22-1.
The betting is expected to continue fast and furious all weekend long. Al Mancini, ABC News, Las Vegas.
Well, it's encouraging in the sense that although we don't have any of these top picks in our finals, we don't have any of the bottom picks in our finals. So we'll see what happens tonight with Oregon and Duke. Tomorrow it's Gonzaga and Syracuse. That's going to be a great game here on iFIBER One News Radio. 6:20 the pregame and 6:40 the tip-off. It is kind of a massaged schedule as they wait for the previous games to finish. Before I leave you, Carol, I got one more story to tell you. I read this morning. 2002. Do you remember the movie? You probably don't. Freddie Got Fingered. Tom Green movie.
It sounds pretty horrible.
I think it was a horrible movie. So it comes out in 2002. This guy in the South gets pulled over this week or last week and for a broken taillight. Cop runs his plate, comes back and says, I don't know how to tell you this, but you have a warrant out for your arrest. You never returned Freddie Got Fingered in 2002, and I have to arrest you. A warrant was out because he never returned that movie.
You got to be careful out there, folks.
On iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
Dave Ramsey helps you handle your money weekdays from noon to 3.